Chapter 621. Lu Shuang felt creeped out. Shen Yiyan, stop talking. Your classmate came out in the end, right? You don't want to hear it? Shen Yiyan looked at her and said. Lu Shuang shook her head. After all, she was still a very young girl at that time. I don't want to hear it. Don't scare me. The village is not far from here, Shen Yiyan said. Ah. Lu Shuang screamed and hugged Shen Yiyan's arm. She said pitifully, don't scare me. Shen Yiyan was very satisfied with Lu Shuang's behavior. She put her arm around her shoulder and said, I'm not scaring you. It's a real thing. I'm still in contact with my classmate. When we go back, I can ask him to tell you. But his other classmates are not so lucky. Are they all dead? Lu Shuang hugged her tighter, her body shivering. Not only are they all dead. Do you remember what I said about the photos on the wall? They are all dead people. They are passers-by who were summoned by the ghosts here. After they died, their souls were imprisoned in those houses and couldn't be released, Shen Yiyan said seriously. Then how did your classmate get out? Lu Shuang asked. My classmate overturned a mud house. When the house collapsed, the souls inside were released. Some souls helped my classmate find a way out of gratitude, so my classmate escaped, Shen Yiyan explained. Could it be that your classmate lied to you? Lu Shuang asked, unwilling to give up. I have photos of him and those souls. Do you want me to show them to you? No. Lu Shuang screamed. Last year, I went to the underground palace with my parents. The tour guide said that it was not easy to take photos because the souls would be taken away. That's right. My friend promised those souls that he would bring them out. Then, what about those souls? Shen Yiyan looked behind Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang felt a chill down his spine and his face was numb. He threw himself into Shen Yiyan's arms and closed his eyes. Shen Yiyan smiled happily. Don't be afraid. He showed the jade on his neck to Lu Shuang. Do you see this? It's been blessed. No demons or ghosts can get close to it. Hearing his words, Lu Shuang was even more afraid to leave him. Just like that, he nestled in his arms. He smiled and said, Sleep, I'm here. For a moment, she didn't find him so annoying. She really had to fall asleep on his lap. The next day, the school teacher and the police found her. It turned out that before Shen Yiyan came down, he made a circle around the trap and lit a fire. That way, the mosquitoes wouldn't come in. If someone came across it, they would notice that the smoke was a signal for help. At first, she didn't want to come up, worried that the teacher and the police were the ghosts of Shangxi village. But when she saw Shen Yiyan smiling at her, she felt at ease and went up. She hugged Shen Yiyan's arm the whole time and only let go when they were about to reach the camp. The other students arrived safely. When she got home, she had a high fever. She suspected that she had really met a ghost and didn't dare to sleep at night. Shen Yiyan came to her house and told her that he lied to her. She was so angry that she almost vomited blood. But now that she thought about it, if Shen Yiyan hadn't been with her that night, she would have been in trouble. Lu Shuang looked up at Shen Yiyan. He put his arm around her shoulders, kissed her on the cheek, and nibbled on her ear. Lu Shuang shrunk her head and looked at him. She pulled her ear and asked him with her eyes, What are you doing? Shen Yiyan didn't say anything and pressed her head on his lap. She had slept enough today and didn't want to sleep for the time being. She straightened her body and pressed Shen Yiyan down on her thighs, smiling faintly. Shen Yiyan didn't refuse. He leaned on her lap and closed his eyes. The sky turned dark suddenly. In the forest, it was so dark that she couldn't see her fingers. There was no light at all. It was very quiet all around. She couldn't tell that there were more than 50 people hiding around. Everyone was very patient and didn't make a sound. Lu Shuang looked around and couldn't help but sigh. She had designed a plan before, but in the end, she didn't even need to use it. No wonder armchair strategists usually died faster in actual combat. There were too many unexpected factors in actual combat. Time passed. She didn't know how long it had been. There was no time here. She vaguely heard footsteps and pushed Shen Yan, who was lying on her lap. Shen Yan signaled her not to speak. She threw a wooden stick and hit the person who came. Lu Shuang could only hear the banging sound and see the red light. There was the smell of limestone in the air. Shen Yan pressed her head. She could feel that there were bullets shooting at her, but their hats didn't make any sound. The enemy Shen Yan chose was really good. The gunshots lasted for 10 minutes and gradually subsided. Lu Shuang didn't know what the situation was now. Was her hat smoking? How many of her people were left? How many of her allies were left? How many of her enemies were killed? How were the others? In this situation, she didn't think she could get out in 42 hours, let alone 24 hours. She was originally a chatterbox. Now she couldn't speak and was a little hungry. Shen Yan covered her mouth. Lu Shuang ate the sweet chocolate. He peeled it when there were gunshots. In that way, the sound of gunshots could cover the sound of peeling chocolate. Lu Shuang looked at Shen Yan gratefully. Even though they were very close, they couldn't even see the outline clearly. In this situation, it wasn't power that depended on, but hearing and alertness. Lu Shuang ate the sweet chocolate and felt that there was nothing to complain about. After all, the chocolate she ate was given by Shen Yan. Shen Yan was still hungry. Time ticked by. Lu Shuang found a comfortable place on the ground and fell asleep on his knees. But he couldn't sleep well. At night, there were 5 fierce battles in succession. He didn't know how the situation was. In the morning, the sky gradually brightened. There was a faint light in the forest, and people could be seen. Shen Yan seemed to be asleep too. He closed his eyes and leaned against the thorns. Wasn't he afraid of being pricked by needles? Lu Shuang gently pulled his hand, and Shen Yan opened his eyes and looked at him. Lu Shuang looked at him, and many thoughts flashed through his mind. This guy, why did he come to the jungle to be abused instead of being a president? Was he stupid? Shen Yan was good at everything, except for his bad taste and bad interests. For example, did he like her? Lu Shuang twitched the corner of his mouth. Shen Yan also twitched the corner of his mouth, and they looked at each other and smiled. She saw him smile and was a little angry. He liked to court death. Why did he bring her along? She didn't sleep well last night. People like her usually ate normally, and even ate several meals. But now, she didn't eat dinner last night, and she didn't dare to eat breakfast. She was so hungry that her stomach hurt. Chapter 622. She thought about it again. He had brought her here to experience life. After all, he had suffered together with her. Although she did not know what use it would be to her in the future, she felt that there were some strange emotions in her, such as hot blood, excitement, and the desire to try. She smiled again, and Shen Yan smiled with her. It was undeniable that her emotions had a fatal influence on him. Lu Shuang mouthed, "Hungry. Eat. Remember to keep your head down." Shen Yan said, got up, and went out. Lu Shuang did not know where he was going. He wanted to stop him, but heard the sound of gunshots, so he quickly kept his head down. Shen Yan said that he could keep his head down and eat. It was a small matter if his hat smoked, but it was a big matter if he starved to death. After all, he was the one who was hungry, and if his hat smoked, it might be a relief. She touched the bread in her bag and ate it silently. Shen Yan had climbed to a tree not far away from her, and he looked around coldly. Lu Shuang hid in a very good place. The place was full of thorns, which could block bullets and also block people's sight. Moreover, he put a wooden stake in front of the thorns. That was to say, if he wanted to shoot Lu Shuang's hat smoked, he had to get close to him. Lu Shuang was afraid of hunger. If he made any noise, it would definitely attract the attention of the people around him. But there was nothing they could do. After all, she had something to hide. If she lay down, others would know that she was there, and they would not be able to shoot her. However, there would definitely be people who would take the risk and attack her at close range. Therefore, he hid not far away from her, and attacked those people who were close to her. As expected, Shen Ian saw someone sneaking over. He shot him, and smoke came out from the top of his head. The others saw that there was an ambush and immediately got down. Shen Ian saw it too and smirked. Another shot, another hit. Everyone knew that it was a trap, so they didn't dare to go there. Lu Shuang, who was used as bait, didn't know what was going on outside. He lowered his head and enjoyed the food. Shen Ian glanced around and vaguely saw some exposed targets. He shot over, and with a bang, another smoke came out. However, his whereabouts were also discovered. He jumped down from the tree, rolled on the ground, and drilled into the thorns. Lu Shuang looked at him and asked, "What's the situation now?" Shen Ian put in the simulated bullets and explained, "One person in your group died, and there are currently 9 survivors. 3 people in your alliance's group died, and there are 7 survivors. 5 people in group 3 died, and there are 5 survivors. Of the 10 people in group 17, 5 came, and 4 died, and there is 1 survivor. How do you know which team they are from?" Lu Shuang was surprised. There is a logo on the hat on their head. According to the color, it is also the logo to distinguish the teams. Lu Shuang suddenly understood. He was wondering how they could distinguish the teams when they all wore the same clothes and the same color. It turned out that their hats were different. "Which team are we in?" "The last group, 27. Red, yellow, blue, green, cyan, purple, black, white, and gray. According to the serial number, they are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. The left side of our hats is yellow, and the right side is black," Shen Ian reminded. Lu Shuang stared at Shen Ian's hat. Shen Ian tapped her forehead. "I belong to group 1, so it is only red, just above the screen." Lu Shuang saw it and understood. He said, "You said that there are 5 people in group 17. Where are the other 5? "I don't know. There are more than these groups here. There are 19 groups, 23 groups, and 25 groups." Lu Shuang counted with his fingers. "That is to say, there are a total of 7 groups and 70 people here. Maybe we can get all the flags?" "It's not that easy. They are in a stalemate now. I only got the flags of group 3. Lu Shuang was surprised. "You got the flags of group 3? How did you do it?" "The commander of group 3 was killed yesterday. His team wanted to get the flags back, but I got there first," Shen Ian explained. Lu Shuang remembered that he had left alone yesterday. So it was to get the flag. "So, those dead people are lying still because they might have flags on them to confuse others, right?" Shen Ian nodded. "Something like that. Then when can they leave?" "I mean, those dead people?" Shen Ian looked at her deeply. "When the battle here is over, they can leave." Beep, beep, beep. The siren was very loud outside. Lu Shuang frowned. "What is that?" "Supplies," Shen Ian said simply. Just as Shen Ian said that, they heard old Zhou's voice. It was through the drone. "Supplies are in place. Supplies are in place. Uninhabited island at latitude and longitude 1235, 23 feet 35 inches, 4762. Attention, attention. Supplies are in place. Uninhabited island at latitude and longitude 12 feet 35 inches, 2335, 47 feet 62 inches. Lu Shuang looked at Shen Ian. "Do you know how to get to those places?" Shen Ian took out a compass from her bag. There were coordinates on it. This compass was specially made. It was not based on the latitude and longitude of the world. Instead, it was based on the uninhabited island. They had a special way of measuring it. To put it simply, they converted the surface of the uninhabited island into the shape of a ball and expanded it. Are the supplies referring to food? Lu Shuang asked. Not just that. There are food, drinks, bullets, and smoke grenades, Shen Yan explained. Then, are we going to get it or not? If we go and get it, it will be a fierce battle. If we don't, we will starve and not have enough bullets. However, this is the center of the battle. No one dares to act rashly, Shen Yan analyzed. So, I feel that whether it is a drill or a real battle, there is an element of luck. If we are near the food, we can be the first to rush over and get the food. Moreover, we can also set up traps. It won't be like this, where we are in a stalemate, Lu Shuang sighed. Luck is something that can be looked at but not obtained. Only strength can be improved. Stay here and don't move. I will go and get you food, Shen Yan said in a deep voice. After Shen Yan left, Lu Shuang was a little afraid. Didn't I say not to be more than a meter away from you? You are making things difficult for me. Shen Yan smiled. Do you want me to accompany you or go and get you food? I want to ask you. Maybe the other teams have already gotten the map. After all, it has been a night. If the 5 teams get the flags first, is there a need for us to continue? If the 5 teams get the flags, they will lose if they continue fighting. After all, there are only 5 winners. Of course, there is no need to continue. But we won't know even if they win. Lu Shuang was worried. It will be reported. We will know. Beep 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 beep. The police siren sounded again. Hello everyone, I am Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 623. Quick. Quick. Team 2 was completely wiped out and eliminated in advance. Lu Shuang understood. Even if they were completely wiped out, we should still report it. Besides, Team 2 is not here. So, other places are actually fighting just like here, right? Shen Yan nodded. How long will this drill last? Lu Shuang felt uncomfortable. Maybe 10 days to half a month. Lu Shuang, who said that it would only take a few hours? What if it rains? It often rains in the forest. Lu Shuang asked. There should be flu and anti-inflammatory medicine in the supplies. Maybe there will be umbrellas and tents. Lu Shuang, she thought about her hat again and complained, why did you insist on me participating in the drill? Do you not want to see me doing well? I've only been relaxing for a few days. I haven't even played that game properly. You said that it will be next Monday. What's the use of next Monday? Next Monday, I can't get out of here. Shen Yan scratched her nose. You will benefit from the drill. Stay here. Your teammates will protect you. Remember, you must lie down, understand? She could only nod. Shen Yan walked out of her and Lu Shuang continued to lie down. Hopefully, they would be lucky and end it soon. Shen Yan said that she would benefit from the drill and give her what she wanted the most. To be honest, apart from revenge, she didn't know what she wanted the most. She didn't have a goal in her life. If she had to pick one, she would muddle along and be happy and relaxed every day. The people she loved and liked were just as happy and relaxed as she was. Did that count? Gunshots came from outside from time to time. It sounded particularly intense. With a bang, it flew over her head and hit the tree behind her. The sound was extraordinarily loud. It was different from the previous bangs. It seemed that the decibel and speed of the gunshots were several times higher. Then, the gunshots were all fired at her. There was a loud bang. It didn't seem to be a simple gunshot. The thorns around her were ignited. Lu Shuang was so scared that he wanted to run out from under the thorns. Anyway, it was just smoke coming out of his hat, and he would not really die. This is the real deal. An enemy has snuck in. Everyone, be careful, someone shouted. Lu Shuang's face turned pale with fear. There was actually a real weapon. No wonder she felt that the bullets were different. This time, it wasn't that her hat was smoking, but that she was really going to die. She lay on her stomach and covered her head, not daring to move at all. A masked mercenary came towards her quickly with a real gun in his hand. Zhu Jiang rushed over and fought with the enemy. With a bang, he was hit in the arm by a real bullet, and his body was covered in blood as he was flung away. Only then did they realize that there was a sniper hiding in the shadows. Lu Shuang remembered that he had a real gun in his pocket, so he quickly took it out and took out the walkie-talkie. He said anxiously, "Shen Yiyan, I have real bad guys here. They have real guns. I'm scared. Come back quickly." Shen Yiyan did not make a sound. Lu Shuang was even more scared, worried that he was also in danger. A masked man walked in front of her and raised his gun. Lu Shuang knew that she was definitely going to die. Shen Yiyan's face flashed in her mind. If he had known that she would die in this drill, would he still have brought her here? De Bao's face also flashed in her mind. De Bao would be very pitiful without a mother. She also thought that Hua Zixing should be a gentle person who would treat her baby well. With a bang, the masked man was shot in the head, and he fell straight down in front of her. Lu Shuang looked at the dead masked man in surprise. Was Shen Yiyan back? If only she had Bai Ye's courage. Bai Ye would definitely not be afraid. Last time when she was assassinated in the villa on the island, it was all because of Bai Ye that she was able to escape danger. What should she do? What should she do? She saw another masked man rolling in front of her, raising his gun and pointing it at her. She screamed in fright and fired at the masked man, not caring if she could hit him or not. The masked man also fired at her. She seemed to have been shot, right in the position of her heart. It was very painful, and she fell to the ground. Seeing that she had been shot, the masked man closed his eyes and passed out. Beep, 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 beep. The siren sounded again. Attention all soldiers, there are foreign mercenaries breaking into the island. Stop the drill, change to invisible tags, we will definitely catch the foreign invaders, There is also a masked man approaching. It's Lu Shuang, but there seems to be a hidden sniper. With a bang, he killed the man in front of him. The invisible soldiers also looked at each other, not knowing what was going on. There seemed to be two groups of mercenaries on the island. One group of mercenaries wanted to kill Lu Shuang, and the other group wanted to protect Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang caught her breath, sat up, and looked at her heart. Although she had been shot and it was very painful, she was fine. She was probably wearing a fireproof vest. No wonder Shen Yiyan told her to protect her head. Don't move. Don't move. Don't stop me. My mission is to protect Lu Shuang, the mercenary said in English. Lu Shuang wanted to poke her head out to look, but she was afraid and didn't dare to. She couldn't die. She was afraid of dying. She quickly covered her head with her hands, lay on the ground, and didn't move. She didn't know what Shen Yiyan was doing now and when he would come back. She would only feel more at ease when he was here. A mercenary with his face covered saw that they were looking at another mercenary, so he quickly ran towards Lu Shuang. When he was about 10 meters away from Lu Shuang, he suddenly stopped and touched his neck. A syringe was shot into his neck. His eyes turned black, he staggered a few steps, and fell to the ground. The soldiers looked at the mercenary again. The leader of the masked mercenaries saw that they had fallen into an ambush. Now that he was the only one left in his team, he could only retreat. He turned around and was shocked to see Shen Yiyan standing in front of him. Shen Yiyan was standing behind him without anyone noticing. He had caught all of his men in one fell swoop. Could it be that he had left on purpose to let them think that they had a chance? Shen Yiyan smiled. There were 5 of you, and now you are the only one left. You know that you can't run away. The person who hired you can't protect you either. The only one who can protect you is me. I won't betray the person who hired me, even if it means death, the masked man said firmly. Very well, but I don't like things that are beyond my control. Within 24 hours, the information of your friends, lover, parents, and children will be in my hands. I'm not a merciful person, you should know that. Since you don't want to expose the person behind you, then you will be responsible for the death of my woman's parents. Chapter 624. The calmer he was, the more people felt that he was telling the truth, because his cold eyes were filled with murderous intent. I'll take responsibility for my own actions. The mercenary leader was scared. His forehead was covered in sweat. You don't have the right to do that. Either tell me who hired you, and I'll give you 10 million, and you can quit being a mercenary and live a good life with your family. Or, I'll let your family reunite with you in hell. Of course, you don't have much time to think about it. You have a companion who was knocked out by me. He might confess before you do, Shinian said coldly. The masked mercenary took off his mask. His face was slightly pale. It seemed like he had no other choice. I don't know his exact identity. We've been communicating through emails and phone calls. I received a notice yesterday that he asked me to come to this island and kill Lu Shuang. If the information you provide is of no use to me, I can only let you reunite with your family in hell. Shen Ian curled up the corner of his mouth and looked at him coldly. The masked mercenary clenched his teeth and made up his mind. He appeared when I was on a mission in England. He shot and killed Lu Shuang's mother. I took a photo of him and followed him. I know that he registered himself as Chang Zhenshuo in the hotel. Chang Zhenshuo? You know that they always use fake identities when they go out. Don't be like toothpaste that needs me to squeeze a little and tell you something. I know that you know more than this, Shinian said with certainty. She looked at the mercenary leader with an oppressive gaze. The masked mercenary leader thought for a while. Will you really let me go if I tell you? Of course. Since you're not the murderer, killing you won't do me any good. If I break my promise to you, how can I cooperate with others? Shen Ian said with certainty. When he returned to country A, he used the name Yuan Cheng on his passport. I traced it through his IP address. The owner is called Chang Jiang. He has a girlfriend called Lang Zi. He also used Lang Zi's account to transfer money to me. Later, I found out that he seemed to be related to you invisible big shots. He's the illegitimate son of a big shot. That's all I know. After all, he's just my hired servant, not the target of my investigation. Which big shot? Shen Ian asked. Well, I don't know. Then how did you know that he was the illegitimate son of some big shot? Shen Ian narrowed her eyes. First of all, he's always been wearing formless clothes, so he probably worships formless a lot. Secondly, one day when we were chatting, he picked up a phone call and called out, "Dad." Then he said darkly, "Be careful in formless, I'll do my job well." Doesn't that mean that he has a father in formless? But, how would an invisible person dare to send his own son? He could also be an adopted son, right? Shen Ian raised a question. Yes, that's possible. Where are the photos? Shen Ian asked. The masked mercenary took out his phone and handed it to Shen Ian. Shen Ian took it from him. A murderous look flashed across the masked mercenary's eyes. He stabbed the knife at Shen Ian. Shen Ian dodged the knife alertly and injected the needle into the masked mercenary's neck artery. The mercenary didn't expect Shen Ian to be so skilled. He slowly knelt on the ground and fainted. Shen Ian walked out and went to the captured mercenary. She looked at his face and confirmed that he was sent by Baya. She said in a deep voice, "Let them go. We haven't completed the mission yet." "We can't leave," the mercenary replied. "She won't participate in the drill. She'll leave now. Don't worry and go back." "I'll talk to Baya," Shen Ian said. The mercenary paused and looked at Kun, who was hiding in the dark. Kun walked out and stood in front of Shen Ian. "You arranged everything, didn't you?" "I'll protect my own people." "You found her at 10:20 last night, right?" Shen Ian smiled. She knew their operation like the back of her hand. Luckily, my mission wasn't to deal with you. Otherwise, my team would have been wiped out like Yan's, Kuan said. You know him? Shen Ian was curious. Yan's team is quite famous in our circle. Their success rate is 99%. You are one of those 1%, Kuan sighed. If someone asks you to deal with me, please reject the deal with your friend. If you can do me a favor, I won't disappoint you, Shen Ian said with a smile. All right, Kuan agreed and clapped his hands. The other 3 members of his team walked out. Let's go, Kuan said. Sir, what should we do now? Qing Mingho asked. Since it's an invisible drill, let the invisible people continue. We won't participate. I have other things for you to do, Shen Ian said coldly. Yes. Lu Shuang actually heard what Shen Ian said, but Shen Ian didn't allow her to come out, so she didn't dare to come out. Shen Ian went to her and pulled her out. When Lu Shuang saw him, she knew that she was safe. She hugged him with lingering fear, but thinking that there were many invisible people around, she immediately let go of him and flattered him in a businesslike manner. Thank you, Mr. President, for protecting this subordinate. This subordinate will do her best to be loyal to Mr. President. You have to do your best to be loyal? Shen Ian mulled over this sentence meaningfully. Lu Shuang pursed her lips and slapped his arm, signaling him not to take advantage of her and to stop before going too far. Shen Ian smiled and said to the camera, Group 27 is out of the game. The others continue. Beep, 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 beep. Zhou received the order and was also shocked. He had followed Shen Ian for many years and knew Shen Ian was good at strategizing. But he didn't expect that the drill was completely under Shen Ian's control. They even caught a few mercenaries. If he didn't guess wrong, the mercenaries this time were hired by the invisible people. Otherwise, they wouldn't only target Lu Shuang. Lao Yao was taken away after the last assassination. He probably couldn't see the sun anymore. Why didn't they stop the assassination? If they didn't handle it well, the invisible people might feel disappointed. They might think that the president loved beauties more than the country. But if they didn't handle it, it would damage the president's dignity. It was difficult. Chapter 625. Shen Ian came to the commander of Team 1 and returned his hat to him, changing it to Lu Shuang's hat. At the same time, he passed the 2 flags to him and patted his shoulder. The commander of Team 1 was in awe and saluted Shen Ian. He did not know when the president had gotten the flags. How did he do it in such a chaotic situation? Shen Ian smiled. She was graceful, elegant, and had the confidence and arrogance of the Shen family. She called old Zhou and said, "Send a plane to longitude 16/27. Yes, old Zhou replied. Glancing at the masked mercenary lying on the ground, Shen Ian ordered, "Guards of the 27th team, those who are alive and those who are injured, follow me. As for the other members of the 27th team, deal with the corpses on the ground and gather at the base." Yes. The team members saluted. Shen Ian walked in front. Lu Shuang immediately followed behind Shen Ian and asked in confusion, "Why did we suddenly stop the drill?" Shen Ian looked at him and said, "I have a gift. Of course, I don't want you to work so hard." "What gift?" Lu Shuang was confused. "I have found the person who killed your mother." Shen Ian smiled and said in a low voice. Lu Shuang's mouth opened in shock. "Really? When? Who? Is it in your mind? You can say that." Shen Ian looked a little sad. "I need to think about it. But I will definitely give you an explanation. I owe you this." Lu Shuang looked at Shen Ian and felt a warm and wet feeling in his heart. When she followed Shen Ian, she figured out why Shen Ian insisted that she participate in the drill. He deliberately gave others a chance to assassinate her. Only when others assassinated her could he accurately catch those people. When he went to get the supplies later, he deliberately gave those people a chance to take advantage of. In fact, he had already set up a trap. When he said that he would give her the gift she wanted the most, He really wanted to take revenge for her. It turned out that he was not joking. He really wanted to help her get revenge. It seemed that he really had her in his heart. Otherwise, he would not have gone through so much trouble to mobilize all the invisible people. She did not have high ambitions. She wanted to find an ordinary man, who did not need to be too handsome or have a good figure. She also wanted to have an ordinary job. As long as it was stable, she did not need to make a lot of money, have a pair of cute children, and live an ordinary life. But now, to her, Shen Yan seemed to be the most perfect person in the world, except that he had a bad temper and was married. He was so handsome that he could turn the world upside down. He was an aristocrat who had received an upper-class education. He had a good figure, a good brain, and was resourceful. Other than standing at the peak of power, he had agile skills and meticulous thinking. He also had a listed company behind him and was rich enough. Her family's Debao had his genes, so he had already revealed the wisdom of a genius. For the continuation of the next generation, it seemed like it would be good for her to have another child with him. Seeing that she was thinking about something, Shen Yan stopped. Lu Shuang was not careful. He bumped into her and jumped away. You did it on purpose? Look at the road. Where are your eyes? Shen Yan reminded him. I was thinking about something. Lu Shuang explained. Oh, what are you thinking about? Tell me. Shen Yan stood beside her. She would not tell him what she was really thinking about. If Bai Ye's people hadn't come to save me, I might have been dead. I am a little hesitant now. Should I forgive her? Lu Shuang lowered his eyes and said. Shen Yan really wanted to hold her hand, but after all, there were still formless and the guards behind them. Among these people, some were not even his confidants. He held back and said in a low voice, then you have to ask your heart. If Bai Ye was the one in trouble today, what would you do? If Bai Ye was in trouble, she would help her. After all, she used to be her best friend. But she still felt uncomfortable and touched. Back then, Bai Ye was willing to sacrifice her love for her. Lu Shuang's eyes were a little red. I want to forgive her, but I don't know if we will become the friends we used to be. Let's take one step at a time. Well, I will support your decision. Let's go to the rest stop first. The rest stop that Shen Yan mentioned was at latitude and longitude 1627. There was a house and an empty space there. When they arrived, the plane had already arrived. The guards moved the masked mercenaries onto the plane and tied them up. Shen Yan stepped on the plane and wanted to pull Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang supported himself with both hands and climbed up. Shen Yan sat down on the seat, and Lu Shuang also sat down next to him. Looking at the tied masked mercenaries, perhaps he was too hungry, or perhaps he was distracted, but he couldn't think of food. No need to go to the base. Fly back directly. Shen Yan ordered. His fingers rhythmically tapped on his legs, and he stared at the mercenaries thoughtfully. The plane took off. It was a small plane, and the roar was very loud. Lu Shuang didn't sleep well at night. He leaned against the wall of the plane and fell asleep in a short while. When she woke up, she was already in a warm bed. She got up and found that Shen Yan was not by her side. She went to the bathroom to take a shower and put on fresh clothes. Hua Zixing was at home. She smiled at her. Thank you for the drill. You didn't wake up no matter how I called you. You must be hungry. I'll get the kitchen to prepare some snacks for you. Oh, what time is it? The more I sleep, the more I want to sleep. The more I sleep, the more I can't get out of bed. Lu Shuang scratched his head in embarrassment. It's 2 in the afternoon. Let's eat something first. Hua Zixing said gently and instructed a Nangong Yu beside her, get the kitchen to heat up the food. Where's Shen Yan? Lu Shuang looked around and didn't see Shen Yan. He should be at work at this time. Normally, he would only be back at 6 or 7 at night. This time, he caught 2 mercenaries. I heard that they wanted to assassinate you. Are you okay? Hua Zixing asked with concern. Lu Shuang shook his head. I'm fine, but Zhu Jiang is injured. I haven't asked Shen Yan how he is now. Eat in peace. When Ian comes back, you can ask him. If there's anything, you can look for me. I'm on the 3rd floor. Hua Zixing said with a smile. She turned around and walked to the 3rd floor. She lowered her face and a cold gaze flashed across her eyes. She arranged the flowers several times but was not satisfied. She took out all the flowers and hit the table hard. The petals scattered all over the floor. She took a deep breath and looked ahead coldly. After adjusting her emotions, she threw the flowers into the trash can. She used a broom to sweep the petals on the table and floor clean and threw them into the trash can. In the room, she tied the trash bag in a knot. Nan Gongyu came in and saw her changing the trash bag. She walked over worriedly. You sent people to assassinate him, right? You still can't hold it in. Hello everyone, I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 626. Hua Zixing smiled at Nan Gongyu and stood up. She placed her hands in front of her abdomen and maintained her elegance. She said softly, what do you think about my appearance compared to Lu Shuang? Lu Shuang is at most beautiful and makes people feel comfortable just by looking at her. You, on the other hand, are stunning. Even your younger sister is not as outstanding as you in terms of appearance and temperament. If it wasn't for the fact that you've been living in America for a long time, the title of America's #1 socialite would have been you instead of Hua Rui. Nan Gongyu looked at her with pity. Then what do you think about my figure and temperament compared to Lu Shuang? Hua Zixing asked again. The two of you have similar figures. She's slightly fatter and taller than you. In terms of personality, she's straightforward. It's obvious that she grew up in a carefree environment. She's a little naive, a little romantic, a little willful, a little friendly, and a little easygoing. She makes people feel comfortable and natural around her. However, there are a lot of girls like you on the streets. As for you, you have a gentle temperament, are brave and resourceful, know when to advance and when to retreat. You are considerate, magnanimous, mature, wise and decisive. You are the kind of wife that men want to marry. In terms of background, I am the eldest daughter of the biggest family in America. Although I am not as noble as the princess, I am only slightly inferior. As for Lu Shuang, she was only born in a well-off family. I don't understand. How am I inferior to her? Hua Zixing said delicately. Even when she was angry, she was as gentle as water. That kind of forbearance, that kind of strength, not to mention men, even women would feel sorry for her. You can't give men what they want. After all, for men, being able to eat is more practical than being able to see, Nan Gongyu said in a low voice. I can do it now. It's just that giving birth will be dangerous. But I can find someone to do it for me. Now that medicine is so advanced, I can just take out the eggs, right? Hua Zixing said with reddened eyes. She lowered her eyes, looking gentle and weak. She clenched her fists tightly because of her fair skin and neck. Because of her fair skin, the veins on her neck were clearly visible. Nan Gongyu touched her head tenderly and said softly, but Shen Yan doesn't know? He thinks you can't. Hua Zixing raised her head and looked at Nan Gongyu pitifully. Right now, Shen Yan's heart is filled with Lu Shuang. If I say that I can, not only will he not have sex with me, he will also stay far away from me. I know him too well. Nan Gongyu fell silent for a moment. She looked at Hua Zixing with a profound gaze and asked, Ah Z, do you really like him? Tears the size of soybeans rolled down Hua Zixing's cheeks. My family can't do without him, and there's only a year left until the agreement between us expires. I'm worried that he'll abandon me and marry Lu Shuang. After that, I don't know, where should I go? I'll become the sinner of the family. Don't worry about that. I just want to know, do you really like him? Nan Gongyu continued to ask. Hua Zixing shook her head. I don't know, I really don't know, Xiao Yu, I've never thought about this before. Back then, when I married him, other than relying on power, it was also because he didn't mind that I couldn't sleep with a man. On this point, I reached an agreement with him, so he didn't marry the princess. We reached an agreement on this point, so he didn't marry a princess. Instead, he married me. I thought that I would treat him like a guest for the rest of my life. I also enjoyed the life of being the president's wife. Power, glory, and companionship. I liked to stand by his side and fight alongside him. He was a very supportive and safe ally. Until a hint of viciousness flashed in Hua Zixing's eyes, hidden in her pain. She continued, I discovered Lu Shuang's existence. Shen Yiyan raised her in the side courtyard and often went to see her. After I found out, he told me that she was the woman he truly wanted to marry in the future. They even had a son. I was worried that she would destroy the balance between me and Shen Yiyan. So, half a year ago, I instigated Madame Yao. Madame Yao went back and instigated Colonel Yao. Colonel Yao ordered his invisible subordinates to assassinate Lu Shuang. But she was very lucky. She actually came back alive and even caused Colonel Yao to die under military law. Did you appear directly for the assassination? Nan Gongyu asked worriedly, looking at Hua Zixing's expression. I didn't. But, I called Colonel Tang directly and hinted that Lu Shuang was a demon who could bring disaster to the country and the people. He should have seen through my thoughts, so he sent mercenaries to assassinate Lu Shuang. Now that Shen Yiyan has captured the mercenaries, with his wealth and intelligence, he will be able to find out that it was Colonel Tang. I'm worried that Colonel Tang will expose me. Then, I will definitely be finished. Hua Zixing sat down on the chair dispiritedly. She held her forehead and sighed. Nan Gongyu squatted down in front of Hua Zixing and held her ice-cold hand. She looked at her gently. If he finds out, I'll take you away. We'll go to a place where no one knows us. We'll definitely be happy there. What about my family? I will become a sinner in my family, Hua Zixing said with tears in her eyes. You have already shouldered too much for your family. You don't think about your family at all. That's enough, isn't it? You should think about yourself. Nan Gongyu's eyes were also red. Or, have you already fallen in love with Shen Yiyan? Hua Zixing remained silent and closed her eyes. Her tears flowed even more fiercely. I don't know. I don't understand. I thought I was heartless and loveless, but I'm jealous of Lu Shuang. I'm very jealous. Shen Yiyan is in her room every night. I can hear their laughter. Shen Yiyan has never smiled at me like this. He had never smiled at me before, nor had he ever treated me with such gentleness and love. However, he had a doting smile on Lu Shuangquan. She can sleep until noon every day and then go back to sleep. She can do nothing but play on the computer in her room every day. But, even if she is a good-for-nothing, Shen Yiyan still loves her so much. I don't understand. Am I going to lose because I'm not a good-for-nothing? Hua Zixing was a little emotional, but her expression was still not ferocious. However, her crying was even more heartbreaking. A beauty. She was so beautiful even when she was crying. After sobbing for a while, she calmed down and looked at Nan Gongyu. I am greedy for my current power. I want to stay by his side. I don't know if this is love. I don't understand. Nan Gongyu understood. Hua Zixing had fallen in love with Shen Yiyan. Moreover, it was deep and unknowingly. Chapter 627. Hua Zixing lifted her head and looked at Nan Gongyu with teary eyes. I can't let Colonel Tang betray me. He has to die before Shen Yiyan interrogates him. I'll do it now. Calm down and don't let Shen Yiyan see through you. He's too smart, Nan Gongyu instructed. Xiao Yu, be careful. If you die, I won't be able to live either, Hua Zixing reminded her. Nan Gongyu nodded and disappeared from the president's residence. Lu Shuang was full after eating the snacks. When she returned to her room, she wondered if she should meet Bai Ye. But when she thought of her mother and Bai Ye's betrayal, she felt a knot in her heart. The more you cared about someone, the more you didn't want to forgive them easily. That was human nature. No matter how he thought about it, it was too irritating. He decided to play the game. After playing for a while, he felt a strong sense of guilt in his heart. Shen Yiyan was busy with her matters, but she was playing games without a care in the world. She had come back to China with the intention of taking revenge, but in the end, she just followed Shen Yiyan around all day and did nothing. She felt that she had no sense of responsibility and value. Was she going to follow Shen Yiyan around for the rest of her life? She looked at her tummy. It had only been a few days since she came back. She had finally gotten so skinny, but now she was getting fat again. She sighed and stopped playing games. She left the room and went to the third floor. Hua Zixing was in the middle of an illustration. Her silhouette looked especially picturesque. Lu Shuang knocked on the door. Hua Zixing turned her head and looked at Lu Shuang. She smiled gently. I've arranged a few pots of flowers, but I'm not satisfied with them. Can you help me take a look and see if I need to make any adjustments? Lu Shuang walked to Hua Zixing and glanced at the flowers on the table. I don't know much about flower arrangement, and I don't have any sense of aesthetics. I'm sorry. It's okay, it depends on the person. Some people think it looks good, while others don't. What's the matter? Hua Zixing continued to arrange her flowers. Lu Shuang thought for a moment. Did you go to the orphanage? Hua Zixing smiled and said, Not yet, I'm waiting for Yi Yan. I think it'll be tomorrow or the day after. I'll wait for Yi Yan to come back and discuss before making a decision. What are you going to do in the orphanage? Lu Shuang asked. Give the children food and school bags, then see what they need and add some resources. The plan is to visit 10 orphanages and 10 nursing homes. You should know the specific itinerary. Yi Yan has a meeting this time. After the meeting, there will be a big move. Hua Zixing explained. Said. Oh, what do you usually do? Lu Shuang asked tentatively. She felt that Hua Zixing was perfect. She wanted to learn as much as she could. She did not waste Shen Yiyan's kindness to her. As long as there was improvement, it was fine. She had tried her best. A look of disdain flashed across Hua Zixing's eyes. That kind of woman was thousands of miles away from her. What was the point of learning from her? Shen Yiyan liked her. She felt that it was unfair, indignant, and unimaginable. But she hid it well. She smiled and said patiently, I'm in the cabinet in the morning. I'll follow the schedule of the cabinet meeting. When I'm free, I'll arrange flowers, listen to music, read books, and so on. What about you? What do you usually do? Me? I play games and read books. I don't have a job at the moment, so most of my time is spent playing games, hee. Lu Shuang smiled embarrassedly. What books do you read? Hua Zixing asked casually. Romance, urban, CEO, fantasy, and ancient literature. But I don't read much. I'm impetuous and can't calm down to read. Hua Zixing paused. She only read finance, politics, history, and romance. The more she interacted with Lu Shuang, the more she realized the gap between them. She really did not understand why Shen Yiyan liked her. You and Yiyan used to be classmates. Both of you did well in school, right? Hua Zixing smiled. She was actually testing him. In fact, she was jealous that Lu Shuang was Shen Yiyan's classmate. Shen Yiyan was so perfect. He should not have such a classmate. I'm okay. He's a bad student. He's the last one. She was quite proud of this. But Shen Yiyan was not a bad student. He was just rebellious. He often handed in blank papers and did not want to take the exams. But he did take the exams a few times. He was first in his year, but she did not want to say it. No way. He doesn't look like a bad student. Hua Zixing was shocked. Shen Yiyan was perfect in her heart. It's true. He's different when he was young. He even had a runny nose. This started after the summer camp. She had a fever. Shen Yiyan came to her and said that the ghost story was made up to scare her. She was so angry that she exploded. How could there be such a bad person in the world? Alright, she was not a good person either. So, she prepared a big bucket of ice water and poured it all on Shen Yiyan when he was not paying attention. She still remembered that Shen Yiyan was not angry at all. He smiled and said, I had a fever with you. Don't be angry anymore, right? In the end, he did not have a fever. He caught a cold and had a runny nose. During those days, her mood was super good. Cough, cough. You were the campus belle back then, right? Hua Zixing asked casually. Although she did not think that Lu Shuang could be the campus belle with his looks, many children were very unsophisticated. Some of them came from well-to-do families. If they dressed up prettily, they would easily become a joke. Hee hee. Lu Shuang scratched his head. I'm more like a joke. I ate a little too much during puberty. So, it was a little tragic. Hua Zixing, she smiled awkwardly. Sounds like a story with a lot of love. There was no love. I didn't get along with him when we were young. He was a little tyrant, the kind who always bullied people, Shen Yiyan explained. Then you must have a strong sense of justice. Happy quarrelsome. Thinking about it, I think you two are a good match. Hua Zixing's eyes curved into crescents as she smiled sweetly. Not really. I didn't have much sense of justice when I was young. I bullied the weak and feared the strong. I never provoked him. When I saw him, the first thing I did was run far away. Unless he bullied me, I would bully him back. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Actually, Lu Shuang had forgotten a lot of things when he was young. However, Shen Yiyan was too flamboyant and often bullied her. It left a deep impression in her mind. She even remembered the details. Hua Zixing, she could not understand why Shen Yiyan would like Lu Shuang. The two of them were completely different people. Whether it was in terms of temperament, self-restraint, knowledge, ability, or background, they were worlds apart. Chapter 628. But I can tell that he likes you a lot, Hua Zixing said with a smile after a momentary daze. Lu Shuang pointed at her head and said in disdain, he either has a bad brain or bad taste. Hua Zixing laughed. You're humorous. That's your greatest strength. If humorous is considered a strength, then that's my second greatest strength, Lu Shuang said thoughtfully. What's your first greatest strength? Hua Zixing asked curiously as she put down the flowers in her hand. Lu Shuang shrugged. You're just lazy. Hua Zixing laughed so hard that she was about to cry. She held her stomach and said, You're too funny. Lu Shuang sighed. How could she say that she wasn't joking? Go ahead. I'm going to take a walk downstairs. I won't disturb you anymore. Lu Shuang didn't know what else to say to Hua Zixing. After all, the two of them weren't familiar with each other. She also realized that although Hua Zixing had a good temper and spoke with high EQ, there was still a barrier between them. This barrier seemed to separate the two of them into two different worlds. She didn't realize this when it came to Shen Yiyan. Did this mean that Shen Yiyan was more approachable? She walked towards the door. Remember to wear more clothes. It's cold outside, Hua Zixing reminded her. Lu Shuang nodded and went back to her room. She put on a down jacket and went out for some fresh air. She didn't know what she could learn from Hua Zixing. She wasn't interested in arranging flowers. She could pick flowers. She could read books too. Why was there such a big difference? In her heart, there was a perfect goddess, and that was Baiya. She thought about it. Other than reading, Baya knew what she wanted. She was rational, steady, and knew how to do housework. She didn't know how to do housework and didn't know what she wanted. She wasn't rational or steady. No matter how she thought about it, she felt that she was useless. Helpless, she walked to the lakeside, picked up a handful of stones and threw them into the water. She watched as the water rippled. The sun was about to set, and the sky was bright red. The reflection on the surface of the lake had a tinge of green and a tinge of red. It was especially beautiful. Woof, woof. Lu Shuang heard a dog barking. He turned his head and saw a very small dog not far away. It was very small, fluffy, white, and had round eyes. It was only the size of a palm. She walked over and picked up the puppy. Wow, what a small puppy. Is it a teacup puppy? Why are you here? Didn't you see me? Shen Yiyan said helplessly and walked to Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang was surprised. When did you come? I really didn't see you. I've been here for a while. You're in a daze. What are you thinking about? You rarely use your brain, Shen Yiyan said bluntly. She rolled her eyes at him. Will you die if you don't tell me? Don't bother me today. I don't know why I'm not in a good mood. I'm thinking about life. Come, I'll enlighten you. Otherwise, with your blockhead, you won't get any results tomorrow. He sat on the armrest of the wooden chair beside her. Lu Shuang patted the puppy's head and looked at Shen Yiyan in confusion. Do you think I'm useless? Shen Yiyan nodded. I don't think so. You are. Lu Shuang rolled his eyes again. If I'm useless, why are you keeping me? Recycling trash. I like to challenge the impossible. Get lost. Birds of a feather flock together. If I'm useless, you're not far from useless. I'm such a confident person, but I've lost my confidence because of you. Are you happy that I'm not confident? Lu Shuang felt a little uncomfortable. She thought that she might really have an inferiority complex. Shen Yiyan saw that Lu Shuang's eyes were red and knew that she had made a joke. She said helplessly, that's why I want you to stay by my side. I'm so smart. If you're with me, you'll become smarter day by day. Lu Shuang had a strange feeling in her heart. She glanced at his peerlessly elegant face. Shen Yiyan, why do you like me? Shen Yiyan shrugged. I think I'm too perfect. Heaven is jealous of me. You're not perfect, so I'm just a burden. Seriously. Lu Shuang was about to get angry. He frowned. Sigh. Shen Yiyan stood up and looked at Lu Shuang, who was about to explode. I don't need a reason to like you. I've liked you for more than 10 years. If there's a reason, it's that once I've decided on someone, I won't change. Who asked you to seduce me when I was young? Me? His words instantly calmed her raging heart. Even her tone became gentler. How did I seduce you? You wore my shirt on purpose and didn't wear any clothes inside, didn't you? How old were you then? You already knew how to seduce men? Shen Yiyan poked her head. Lu Shuang could not cover his forehead because he was holding the puppy. He took a step back. How did I do that? I didn't notice. I was still young then. I didn't think too much. Shen Yiyan smiled. So, it's fate. Maybe it was a freak accident. Anyway, I'm already in the wrong. I'm a person. Even if I'm in the wrong, I'll continue on as if I'm in the right. He was very similar to her in this aspect. She was also the kind of person who would continue on as if she was in the right even if she was in the wrong. She calmed down. Lowering her head, she looked at the puppy in her hands and asked, why did you think of buying a puppy? During the meeting today, we talked about Baya. We also talked about Baya's dog. You seemed to like dogs in the past, so I bought it. It can keep you company when you're bored, lest you let your imagination run wild all day. Shen Yiyan said as she stroked the puppy's head. Her fingers touched her hand from time to time, as if he was stroking her hand and treating her like a little animal. Lu Shuang paused. He was obviously teasing her. If it were any other time, he would definitely be angry. However, she could hear his concern in his teasing. He remembered that she liked dogs. He knew that she was bored and guessed that she would let her imagination run wild. Perhaps it was because her attitude toward him had changed a little. She actually felt touched. Why did you talk about Baya? Lu Shuang asked. Baya opened a website and hired some reporters. In the future, there will be a disciplinary officer in the officialdom. She is a person who doesn't exist in politics, but many people are terrified of her. Therefore, many people are afraid of her, and even her dog. Shen Yiyan said with a smile. You won't deal with her, will you? Lu Shuang was vaguely worried. Shen Yiyan scratched her nose. Don't worry. For your sake, I'll protect her. After all, she is the person who really cares about you. A layer of moisture appeared in Lu Shuang's eyes. He was originally an emotional person. She found that Shen Yiyan was good to her. Her brain twitched and she said, I'll take off the ring and give you another child. Hello, everyone. I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 629. Shen Yiyan's eyes were filled with excitement. She leaned over, lifted her chin, and kissed her lips. Lu Shuang regretted saying that. She felt that she was too impulsive and should have thought about it. However, when she saw how excited Shen Yiyan was, there was a soft feeling in her heart, as if something was melting. She didn't know how to do anything, but she could give birth. She was pregnant after having sex with Shen Yiyan for one night. She was in good health, so Debeo didn't get sick very often. It seemed that her role was to give birth to children for Shen Yiyan. However, when she thought about it, she didn't want to become a tool for giving birth. She took a step back, and when she saw Shen Yiyan smile, she swallowed the words that she wanted to change. Shuang, I'm very happy. You are finally not a stone. Shen Yiyan raised the corner of his mouth, and the crystal light shone in his beautiful eyes, making him look extremely handsome. Lu Shuang blinked. Even if I am a stone, I can give birth to a son Wukong. What's the hurry? Shen Yiyan knocked her on the head. What son Wukong? I am not a monkey. Don't talk nonsense. Lu Shuang knocked him on the head. You said that I was a stone first. Shen Yiyan put his arm around her shoulder, pulled her into his arms, and looked at her happily. Didn't you say that you are not a stone now? Yes. Lu Shuang responded, and her face was slightly red. She felt that she was a little pretentious and not like herself. She cleared her throat, lowered her head, and looked at the teacup puppy in her hand. She changed her mind and said, It is so obedient. It doesn't bark anymore. What is it called? Huji bear, a teacup puppy. When it grows up, it is the size of 2 palms. Shen Yiyan explained. It is so cute. Lu Shuang leaned her face against the puppy and rubbed its soft fur. What should I call it? Stone, how about a stone? I already have a rock like you. How tiring would it be for me to have another rock? I'll call you Big Bear, Shen Yiyan said softly. Lu Shuang laughed. You call such a small Huji bear a big bear? Where's your IQ? What a joke. This is my wish for him. Shen Yiyan stroked the dog's head. Lu Shuang turned around and did not let him touch it. Are you stupid? This breed is precious when it's small. When it's big, it's not precious anymore. My little bear doesn't grow big. That's why it's so cute. Shen Yiyan hugged her from behind and looked at the puppy. How can it be yours? It's mine. He had to get close to her to make her feel hot. She felt that if this went on, she would become a hungry wolf. Returning to the topic, she asked, Do you know who the person behind this is? Yes, I'll show you a photo. Shen Yiyan took out her phone and passed it to Lu Shuang. Is it him? Lu Shuang stretched out his head and widened his eyes. It's him. I told you that the clothes he wears are invisible. I didn't lie to you, right? Who is he? He is not an invisible person, but he is related to them. He is Old Tang's adopted son, Shinian said. Old Tang? Is he an invisible person? Yes, he is one of the company commanders. I've investigated. The others have nothing to do with this matter. He should be the only one. Then. Lu Shuang wanted to say something but stopped. Are you going to? Don't worry. Since he killed your mother, he should be responsible for it. I will give you an explanation. I will give him a mission soon. It's a narrow escape, so he died honorably, Shinian said. Died honorably? My mother didn't die honorably either. She died in a miserable way. I don't like him. Why did he kill me for no reason? Lu Shuang said softly and lowered his head. He was just talking to himself. He didn't want to put Shinian in a difficult position. Okay, let him die less honorably, Shinian agreed. Lu Shuang looked up at him in shock. She didn't expect him to agree to this. That. Will it affect you? My woman can't even do this. How can I be your man? You don't have to think too much about it. Just leave it to me, Shinian said and took the teacup puppy from Lu Shuang's hand. The teacup puppy barked at Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang recovered from the shock. Didn't you say you would give it to me? Shinian put the dog on the ground. The seller told me not to hold this kind of dog in your hands all the time. They will get used to not moving and die quickly. Let it follow us. Oh, Lu Shuang replied. She wasn't an unreasonable person. Shinian smiled at her, held her hand and walked forward. Lu Shuang looked behind him worriedly. The teacup puppy was following them. Lu Shuang laughed. This dog is so smart. It knows how to follow people. To be exact, it knows how to follow me. Do you think everyone is like you? Shen Ian said with drooping eyes. Lu Shuang made an X with his hands. Are you done? You are the father dog and it is the baby dog. Of course it will follow you. You mean you are the son of a dog? President, where's your integrity? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at? Shen Ian smiled. I'm sorry. Birds of a feather flock together. I've been led astray by you. Don't you have any shame? She walked in front quickly. Shen Ian smiled and followed behind her. He was in a good mood because of what she said. She was willing to give birth to his child. Did this mean that she had truly accepted him? Lu Shuang entered the house first. Her face was flushed red from the hot air. She took off her outer clothes and hung them on the clothes rack. Shen Ian walked in and took off her coat. Where's Deshiong? Lu Shuang looked behind him. There was no puppy. He looked outside and there was no puppy. He looked at Shen Ian's arms again. There was no puppy. He asked again, where's Deshiong? He's as stupid as you. He probably lost him. Shen Ian walked upstairs indifferently. Lu Shuang was a little annoyed. If he lost him, why don't you bring him back? Where's your love? Shen Ian was not angry at all. She turned around and looked at her. Idiot, he's in my pocket. Come up quickly. Lu Shuang looked at his pocket. Indeed, the puppy's white head was peeking out and looking at her. Lu Shuang sighed. Shen Ian had to bully her every day. What happened to liking him? She followed him upstairs with her head drooping. Hua Zixing also heard Shen Ian's voice. She came down from the third floor and looked at Shen Ian's pocket. She smiled in surprise. Is that a puppy? It's so small and cute. Yeah, I bought a teacup puppy. Sometimes Lu Shuang gets bored at home. Does she have her lunch late? Hua Zixing gently stroked the puppy in Shen Ian's pocket and said softly, She only had her lunch at 2 in the afternoon. Should I move her dinner later? Chapter 630. Jealousy flashed across Hua Zixing's eyes. Shen Yiyan was always thinking about Lu Shuang. He even considered that she would be late for dinner. The better he treated Lu Shuang, the more she wanted him. If she could get Shen Yiyan's love, Shen Yiyan would treat her as well as Lu Shuang. She was no worse than Lu Shuang. She should be able to do it. Anyway, she was his wife. If she didn't want a divorce, no one could force her. If she had time, she would have a chance. But this jealousy disappeared in a flash. She couldn't let him find out. Okay. Is the itinerary ready? When are we going to the orphanage? Hua Zixing asked in a businesslike manner. Her voice sounded a little stiff. Shen Yiyan frowned. Suspicion flashed across his eyes. Call Secretary Jiang and ask for it. Just follow his itinerary. I'll have to trouble you for the time being. After Shen Yiyan finished speaking, he ignored Hua Zixing and walked towards the room. Lu Shuang didn't know what to say to Hua Zixing. So he didn't say anything and walked past her. Lu Shuang. Hua Zixing stopped Lu Shuang. Lu Shuang turned to look at her. You can come with us when we go to the orphanage. Hua Zixing invited him. Thank you. She also wanted to go. She could learn more from Hua Zixing when the time came. Shen Yiyan was so nice to her. All she could do was do what he wanted. Bai Ye had said that this was the right way to love someone. Love? Lu Shuang was trembling with fear. She just felt that she liked him a little and now she was in love. Hua Zixing smiled. Of course. Let's go up. He must be anxious. Lu Shuang blushed. He nodded and walked toward Shen Yiyan's room. He wasn't in his room. The puppy was biting on a disposable teacup, pretending to be fierce. It looked so cute. Lu Shuang's heart softened and he wanted to hug the puppy. Shen Yiyan's voice came from her room. You haven't leveled up even after such a long time? I'm not playing. Lu Shuang said. When he saw that his computer was on, he corrected himself. I just played for a while. Didn't I tell you? I'm thinking about life. Shen Yiyan sat on her bed with her elbows propped on the bed. She smiled at her, her eyes sparkling like the dazzling stars on a lake in winter. Lu Shuang was embarrassed by his stare, and his heart was beating fast. This evildoer was extremely sexy with just a casual stroll. His body was filled with male hormones. She recalled the time on the steamer, and the details flashed through her mind. She cleared her throat. Why are you looking at me? Come here, Shen Yiyan shouted. According to Lu Shuang's usual personality, if he asked her to go over, she would lose face. But at this moment, she seemed to be bewitched by him. She shouldn't have gone to the drill with him. During the drill, he was full of wildness. It was the manly feeling that she had always liked. He was so handsome that she was mesmerized. But if she didn't go to the drill and be the bait, she wouldn't be able to find the person who killed her mother. She walked towards him. Shen Yiyan held her hand and squeezed it. Have you thought it through? To me, what I need is not a perfect person who can be the president's wife, but a wife. I want to be the president for the sake of my family, and I want to be your man for the sake of myself. I want to be a selfish person, can you help me? Lu Shuang looked at Shen Yiyan and frowned. Shen Yiyan, do you know how to read minds? Otherwise, how would you know what I'm thinking? Shen Yiyan pulled her into his arms. Your intestines are straight, and you show all your thoughts on your face. I'm glad that you're finally willing to think. No matter how Lu Shuang heard it, he seemed to be looking down on her. Feelings. Do you think that I usually don't think? Before this, you thought that you would leave after you took revenge. You never thought that you weren't suitable for the position of the president's wife, because you didn't care about the position at all, and you didn't think that you would do it. What you thought was that you wanted freedom, freedom to stay away from me. But now you're thinking about it. As long as you think about it, it means that you want to be the president's wife. You don't care about these statuses, that's because you care about me, and you want to stay by my side. Shen Yiyan looked at her affectionately. Lu Shuang felt that he knew her better than she did. It seemed that he had hit the nail on the head. Shen Yiyan, I can consider staying by your side, but can you not read my mind? I feel that I don't have any secrets in front of you. This makes me very unhappy. Shen Yiyan's smile widened. It's easy to feel good. He turned around and pressed her down on the bed. He looked at her and placed his hand on her stomach. When are you going to remove the ring? After I get pregnant, will others suspect you? Lu Shuang was a little worried that it would affect his reputation. Leave it to me. You just have to give birth to my child in peace, Shen Yiyan said softly and kissed her on the lips. It was very gentle and tender. Lu Shuang looked at him as if the sun and moon had lost their brilliance. To be honest, although she had done it with him in the past, she was actually still resistant in her heart. Although she was shrewd, spoke carelessly, and was sometimes very open, in fact, she was conservative. So, until now, she had only had one man, Shen Yiyan. But now, she seemed to be willing. Her heart was wet. It was just a kiss, but she felt an electric current running through her body. She swallowed her saliva and said, "Don't be like last time." You don't like last time? His voice was a little ambiguous. That was too. I'm not a masochist, Lu Shuang said uncomfortably. Xiao Shuang, that wasn't abuse. It was fun. I won't hurt you. You did it 4 or 5 times last time, right? The more Shen Yiyan said, the more embarrassed she felt. Stop talking. Big Bear is still outside. It can't hear us. There are only the 2 of us here. Are you shy? Shen Yiyan's voice was a little husky and full of charm. Why would I be shy? You know I'm very thick-skinned. She didn't want to admit it. Ha. Shen Yiyan chuckled. So you know you're thick-skinned too. You're so thick-skinned that you can't even see red. Shen Yiyan pinched her face and sat up. Come here, I'll play with you for a while. Lu Shuang also sat up and peeked at him. Shen Yiyan pursed his lips and smiled. You want it? Who wants it? Let's play. Watch how I crush you. Lu Shuang sat next to him. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. Lu Shuang looked at the door. I'll go and open the door. She opened the door. Chapter 631. Ian, something happened to Minister Zhang from the Ministry of Education, Hua Zixing said. Him? What happened? Shen Yiyan was very calm and looked at Hua Zixing calmly. In the past 2 days, Minister Zhang had embezzled 67 million and used 2 women. According to the normal procedure, Minister Zhang would be kicked out of politics and thrown into prison next week. Minister Zhang was just found dead in his room. I don't think he committed suicide. His head was separated from his body, but his face was slashed 18 times. His eyes were blinded, and he had symptoms of suffocation. There was a piece of paper in his mouth, and on it was written, "This secret will disappear." His hands were tied and he fell to the ground. If it was him, he wouldn't be able to do it. The problem is that the room is a secret room, and no one can get in, Hua Zixing said in horror. About this, I think we can look for Baiya. Baiya is an expert in psychology, especially in criminal psychology, Lu Shuang blurted out. Shen Yiyan looked at Lu Shuang. After Lu Shuang said that, he also felt that he was being rude. He glanced at Shen Yiyan, and the 2 of them looked at each other. Shen Yiyan smiled. He knew Lu Shuang too well. Lu Shuang was actually a person who didn't get angry easily. He was too carefree, and it was rare for him to be angry with Baiya for such a long time. Hua Zixing looked at the eye contact between the two of them. She smiled and clenched her fists. She was jealous of the tacit understanding between them, hated that their hearts were connected, and wanted Shen Yiyan's love. Has the news been blocked? Shen Yiyan asked her. Hua Zixing came back to her senses and felt a little uncomfortable. She lowered her eyes and said gently, "It's been blocked. Secretariat Jiang wanted to inform you, but I called him, and he asked me to pass the message to you. I trust him. Let's go to the Zheng family first. Call Bureau Chief Xiao. I'll call Bai Ye. Also, call Ling Qiuzuan. He's an expert in solving cases. Dan, you stay at home. The two of us will be too big of a target. Lu Shuang, you follow us." Shen Yiyan said concisely. Hua Zixing frowned. "Are you sure you want to call Bai Ye? Bai Ye is now in the limelight. If she participates, I'm afraid it will cause even greater public opinion. She is indeed in the limelight. In other words, she is the fuse for Minister Zhang's death. However, she is also the least likely person to kill Minister Zhang," Shen Yiyan said in a low voice. "But what about Lady Zhang? Lady Zhang is a little shrewish, and she hates Bai Ye. If Bai Ye goes, I'm afraid there will be more problems. Bai Ye's personality isn't that easy to bully. Perhaps we can see another good show." "It's decided," Shen Yiyan said in a strong tone. No one could refute him. Hua Zixing didn't say anything else. She nodded. "I'll be at home. If you have any other orders, you can call me immediately." Lu Shuang, get dressed and let's go," Shen Yiyan said. "Oh." Lu Shuang thought about the identity of his assistant. He chose a suit and put it on. It was a little cold outside, so he put on a thick windbreaker. Hua Zixing smiled and went forward to help Lu Shuang adjust his collar. She felt uncomfortable letting Hua Zixing help her. She smiled and said, "Thank you. You're actually older than me. You don't have to thank me. Put on a scarf before you go out." "It's cold outside," Hua Zixing instructed. I'll buy a few heat pads on the way. That way, I won't feel cold," Lu Shuang said with a smile. She took a scarf and went out. She felt more at ease being with Shen Yiyan. Shen Yiyan also changed his clothes. He was wearing a black suit, a white shirt, a camel-colored windbreaker, and black leather gloves. He looked dignified but didn't lose the elegance of royalty. This guy. Those who didn't know him would definitely be tempted by his handsome appearance. That smile of his was alluring. She blushed slightly. Feeling that she was being a little pretentious, she cleared her throat and walked behind him. Shen Yiyan looked at her deeply. Lu Shuang couldn't tell what he was looking at and he didn't say anything. She pushed him hard and widened her eyes. "Why are you looking at me like that? Why is your face so red?" Shen Yiyan asked with a mischievous smile. Lu Shuang rolled her eyes. "I'm healthy and full of energy. Can't I? Do you want me to face you with a pale face?" He, you must have a guilty conscience," Shen Yiyan said as if she knew what he was thinking. "Yeah, I have a guilty conscience. Be careful, in case you die in the middle of the night." Lu Shuang was stubborn and didn't want to admit that he was the reason why she was blushing. Shen Yiyan pinched the flesh on her face. Who is this woman? She's so glib. Instantly, Lu Shuang's thoughts went astray. She paused for a moment and stared at him with a strange gaze. Shen Yiyan knew what she was thinking when he saw her gaze. He knocked her head. "You still need to practice your glib tongue. You're not familiar with it and it's easy for you to knock your teeth. I'll give you a chance to practice it every day. Is that good for you?" Lu Shuang didn't want to talk to him anymore. "Thank you, but I don't need it. With my skills, I'm already able to dominate the world." "Where did you get the world from?" Shen Yiyan asked slowly. She really didn't want to talk to him anymore. He was openly looking down on her. Thinking of her, Lu Shuang, when she was in the chicken coop, she was considered to be unique in her own way. She had many pursuers and was brimming with confidence. But when she came to this group of Phoenix Coop, she was really so ugly that she stood out from the rest. She ignored him and walked out. Shen Ian followed behind her happily. "Hey, your minister is dead. Is it appropriate for you to be so happy?" Lu Shuang didn't hold back. Colonel Qing drove over and stopped in front of Shen Ian. "I'll tell you in the car," Shen Ian said. She sat in the back seat and adjusted her clothes. Lu Shuang sat next to him. This guy had long legs and a domineering sitting posture. He took up more than half of the seat. Actually, she was a little domineering. After they got into the car, she purposely squeezed him to the side. Shen Ian wasn't angry at all. He put his arm around her shoulder happily and tapped her nose. "You can't wait. I can't wait to meet your grandfather." Lu Shuang gave him some space. "My grandfather is dead. Even if he's still alive, he's too old and not suitable for you. It's more suitable for you to be impatient," Shen Ian said with a smile. Lu Shuang was defeated by him. This guy had been suppressing her since they were in primary school. He was so eloquent. Was it a necessary skill for a president? "You said we'll talk in the car. What are you talking about?" Lu Shuang changed the topic. Actually, he didn't care. Haha. "Hello, everyone. I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat." Chapter 632. Minister Zhang was a member of Zhuochuani. "His death caused a lot of problems," Shen Ian said briefly. "And then? A triangle is the most stable relationship. Of course, it also depends on the balance of power. Gu Lingqing, Xing Dongcheng, and Zhuochuani are the three giants, followed by Su Zheng, Lin Shutong, and the Xing family. After Gu Lingqing's death, the morale of his side was greatly affected. Leng Shuang didn't have the courage. After all, he wasn't like Gu Lingqing, who was born with the complicated relationships cultivated by Gu Tianheng, so he couldn't sit in the position of the three giants. Xing Dongqing was suppressed by Bai Ye and left his position. Although he still has some connections, he has been greatly damaged. Now only Zhuochuani is in the position of the three giants. Zhuochuani is the only one. If we don't suppress him and let him develop, he will be the next president in the next election," Shen Ian said seriously. He said solemnly with a cold glint in his eyes. After listening, Lu Shuang's heart also thumped. If the next president is not you, what will you do? How will the previous emperors treat their predecessors? When the ambition is still there, imprisonment is the most comfortable. After all, I am still in that position. For the people's livelihood and various international statuses, my life can be saved. But the forces behind me, their result, maybe death is the best for them. "Death is the best for them," Shen Ian said solemnly. Lu Shuang felt uncomfortable. He felt a chill when he thought of his fate of being imprisoned within the walls until his death. He was still so young, so talented. So scary. "You shouldn't have been the president." Shen Ian glanced at him. "Don't forget that my father was the last president. If I didn't do it, those who worked hard for us would have long been dead. And my father's death is also to help and stabilize my position, so I can't let his death down." Lu Shuang's heart was heavy. Some things were complicated. The more complicated something was, the more confident she was that she wouldn't think about it. It would give her a headache. Shen Ian held her hand. "Now do you understand why I wanted to marry Hua Zixing? Actually, I've always wanted to marry you. Can I refuse? I don't like being imprisoned in a high wall," Lu Shuang said softly. Shen Ian's gaze turned cold, as if it had become a vast expanse of desolation. "If I fail, I will arrange for you to leave. Don't worry, I won't affect your freedom." He let go of her hand and looked ahead coldly with a long face. Seeing that he was angry, she felt very, very uncomfortable. She was worried, afraid, guilty, and sympathetic. She was used to being free and wild. Although her family was not as well off as Shaniyan's, her parents treated her like a little princess. She had no responsibilities or burdens. She only needed to be happy as she pleased. She had never been restricted. She said that she wanted to move out. Although her mother couldn't bear to, she agreed. Trapping her in a high wall was equivalent to taking her life. When she first followed Shaniyan, she couldn't bear it and wanted to escape. At that time, she wasn't restricted. Other than not being able to leave Shaniyan's side, she could do whatever she wanted. But thinking of Shaniyan being trapped in a high wall and dying alone, she felt that he was very pitiful. She tugged at his sleeve. Shaniyan flung her hand away and looked ahead coldly. His face was livid with an unapproachable aura. But she wasn't a stranger. She was thick-skinned and poked Shaniyan's arm. "Are you angry?" Shaniyan ignored her. "Shaniyan, what are you angry about? With your rotten ability, how can you not be the president? I think you will be longer than your father." "He is not as bad as you," Lu Shuang said with his head tilted. Shaniyan finally had some reaction. She looked at him and said, "Didn't you say that you wanted to give birth to my children? Why? Now you don't want to marry me?" Lu Shuang's face turned red. Colonel Cheng was here. He really didn't think of Colonel Cheng as a human being. Times have changed. It's not like you don't know my personality. I have an idea every 3 days. 2 years later, I will have more than 200 ideas. I don't know what they will become. I'm looking forward to it. Don't take it too seriously, Lu Shuang said with a smile. Shaniyan was still very serious. What do you want me to take seriously? Is it giving birth to my children or not wanting to marry me? Well. Lu Shuang's eyes darted around. Do you think it's inappropriate for us to talk about this in the car? Then where do you think it's appropriate to talk about this? On the bed? Shaniyan was angry. Lu Shuang was annoyed by his questioning. Was there an end to it? He raised his voice and said, "Giving birth is real. I can give Debeo a sister. Is that okay?" Shaniyan's eyes gradually softened. "Sometimes, I really want to sew your mouth. Who knows when you will say something that makes me uncomfortable again? Why don't you say it when you are comfortable?" Lu Shuang looked at him and provoked. Shaniyan twitched the corner of his mouth. "Yeah. After I sew it, I won't be able to experience the excellent skills you mentioned." Lu Shuang was speechless. Once again, she was sure that Shaniyan really did not treat Colonel Cheng as a human being. How could he say such things in front of Colonel Cheng? She felt embarrassed and looked out of the window. The sky was starting to darken. Shaniyan took the opportunity to call Baya. "Yes, Minister Zheng from the Ministry of Education is in trouble. Do you know about it?" "He's dead?" Baya guessed. "I have temporarily blocked this news in case it causes unnecessary chaos. He is indeed dead. His head was separated from his body. His face was cut 18 times. His eyes were poked blind and there were signs of suffocation. The details will have to be confirmed by the forensic doctor." There was also a piece of paper in his mouth. On the paper, it was written, "This secret will disappear. The secret will disappear." His hands were tied behind his back and he was lying on the ground. "The room is like a secret chamber," Shaniyan said. "It's a bit like the previous case, but it's an upgrade. That kind of death can't be suicide. We are keeping the scene. Come and take a look. Investigating the scene is not my strength. My strength is in criminal psychology." Baya rejected politely. "I will ask Ling Qiuzuan to come and cooperate with you. This case may involve Zhuochuani. I think the possibility of Zhuochuani killing someone is very high. Moreover, the motive is very likely to be unknown to us. Don't you want to bring him down? I think you are the most suitable person to do it. What do you think?" Shaniyan simply made it clear. Baya was a smart person. There was no need to beat around the bush when talking to smart people. Chapter 633. The head of the Ministry of Education was murdered. It's expected. He knows too many secrets. Zhou Chuni won't let him go to court. Xing Buhua and Shen Yiyan had the same opinion. His death is very special. Maybe we can find some clues this time. Baya thought. You don't have to do it. There will be professionals. Shen Yiyan is using you as a tool. He wants to kill with a borrowed knife, and you are the knife in the open. Shen Yiyan wants to reshuffle the cards. Zhou Chuni and Xing Dongcheng are birds of a feather. Shen Yiyan being the president is the safest for us. Even if I have to use a knife, I will kill the devil. That is our future. Baya made up her mind. Xing Buhua looked at Baya. He knew her character after spending so much time with her. No, he had known her for at least 5 years since she appeared in his dream. So, he knew her character very well. Otherwise, he wouldn't have impersonated Gu Lingqing. He was afraid that she would commit suicide. He smiled. Leave the Ministry of Environment and the Health and Medical Department to me. When I have collected all the evidence, I will let your internet company do its best. Okay, then I will go out for a while. I won't be back early today. Baya said softly and stood up. Xing Buhua hugged her. He knew that she was going to leave. Even if it was not under her watch for a few hours, he would be reluctant. I will wait here for you to come back. Take care of yourself. Your health and safety are the most important to me. Baya nodded. I will. Also, don't spread the news of Minister Zhang's death. Xing Buhua thought of something. His expression became serious. In the end, he didn't say it out loud. He just nodded. Baya went to Minister Zhang's house accompanied by Lin Shulan and Zhang Xingyu. Minister Zhang's house was an independent villa located on a small mound. The so-called small mound was man-made. The house was surrounded by greenery, which surrounded the house in the middle. It was very hidden and very quiet. When she arrived, Ling Qiuzuan was already there. He went into the bedroom to investigate the scene. Shen Yiyan and Lu Shuang stayed in the living room. Other than them, Chief Zhao and Zhou Chuni were also there. They were all talking to Lady Zhang. Regardless of whether the others were on the lookout or in the dark, they were all standing guard outside. As soon as Baya walked in, her eyes met Lu Shuang's. Lu Shuang looked away awkwardly. Baya sighed. She didn't have many friends, and there were even fewer people who could get close to her. Lu Shuang was one of them. She thought he was a friend and someone she owed. She walked towards Shen Yiyan and nodded. I'll go in first then. Shen Yiyan nodded. Lady Zhang lowered her head. For a moment, she didn't see Baya. Even if she saw her, she wouldn't know her. She knew someone called Baya, but Baya lived in seclusion and rarely showed her face. She had appeared at the meeting before, but only the executives had seen her. Not many of the wives of the executives had seen Baya. Baya asked Lin Shulan and Zhang Xingyu to stay outside. She walked into the bedroom. Don't move around. Ling Qiuzuan felt someone coming in. He didn't even raise his head and said rudely. Baya's lips twitched. He probably couldn't change his bad temper. How can I observe if I don't move around? We're working together. Ling Qiuzuan recognized Baya's voice. He looked up at her in surprise. How dare you come here? Baya squatted down beside him and put on her gloves. I've even dared to go to the lion's den, let alone this place. I'm the fairest person in the eyes of others. Did you find anything? The preliminary judgment is that the deceased was suffocating. The murderer went in and pressed him into the bathtub while he was bathing, causing his death. This method of murder prevented the deceased from making a sound, so it wouldn't attract the attention of Lady Zhang, who was working in the kitchen, Ling Qiuzuan said. Department head Zhang was bathing and Lady Zhang was working in the kitchen. Baya narrowed her eyes. They ate crabs today. During dinner, Department Head Zhang accidentally spilled some soy sauce and vinegar on himself. It smelled a little fishy, so he went to bathe first, Ling Qiuzuan said. Department Head Zhang was exposed for keeping beautiful women and embezzling money. The evidence is conclusive, but he still had the mood to eat crabs. Lady Zhang and Department Head Zhang's breadth of mind is really impressive, Baya said in disdain. You mean to say that Madame Zhang could also be the murderer? What I mean is, they thought that this matter could be solved, so they relaxed. They had something on someone else, and they thought that this could help them get through this difficult situation. So, they were angered and killed to silence them, Baya said coldly. You're saying that this secret will disappear? Then the murderer is too flamboyant. This murderer is flamboyant. He cut off the entire head with a knife. How sharp must the knife be? How strong must the strength be? I'm afraid there aren't many people with such arm strength. It's not something an ordinary person can do, Baya said as she examined the wound. Baya stood up and swept the bathroom, not letting go of any corner. Ling Qiuzuan stood behind her. What did you see? The clothes were newly changed. The tying, defrosting, and gouging out of the eyes were all intentional. How did you determine it? Ling Qiuzuan narrowed his eyes and asked. The cuts on Department Head Zhang's face were clean and clean. It doesn't fit the characteristics of a psychopath. Psychopaths will enjoy the pleasure of cutting their face. The speed of their cuts is slow, and the force is uniform. At the end, they might add more force, and the muscles will suffer more damage, forming wrinkles. But the cuts on Department Head Zhang's face went from deep to shallow, and the muscles were almost undamaged. He purposely imitated the previous sensational case just to confuse us, Baya explained. A strange light flashed in Ling Qiuzuan's eyes. His reasoning was very strong, but Baya was a doctor in the past. In some aspects, he was indeed not as good as her. I solved the trap in the secret room. What about you? Ling Qiuzuan asked. Baya looked up at the ceiling of the bathroom. No one has been to the partition for a long time, so it should be covered in dust. If someone had been there, they should be able to see it immediately. After the murderer killed someone, he hid on top. Lady Zhang would also enter the room after washing the dishes. She would shout a few times, but no one would answer. Then, she would think of a way to open the door. Once she opened the door and saw the situation in the room, she would collapse. When she was on the phone, the person hiding would leave the room. Ling Qiuzuan nodded. I've checked it. There are traces of someone being here. Do you think there are still surveillance cameras here? Baya asked. After the president's men knew about this, they immediately went to the security surveillance room and took away all the tapes, including the computer and hard disk, Ling Qiuzuan said. Chapter 634. Are there any signs of the house being flipped? Baya asked Ling Qiuzuan. No. I'm sure about that. Isn't the murderer worried about the evidence? If he was worried about the evidence, he would have searched everywhere, right? Baya asked suspiciously. In this case, the murderer is confident that he has the evidence, or the evidence is what Minister Zhang wanted to say. Now that he's dead, no one knows about this secret, Ling Qiuzuan guessed. If that's the case, as Minister Zhang's lover, he should be in danger. Since he killed Minister Zhang, why didn't he kill Lady Zhang as well? Baya was surprised. She scanned the room again and had a bad feeling. Could it be that Minister Zhang wasn't killed to silence him, but because of a grudge? Ling Qiuzuan guessed. If there was a grudge, it would be too much of a coincidence to kill Minister Zhang when he was about to go to prison. Also, it's too much of a coincidence that Minister Zhang was so calm. Baya looked at Minister Zhang's body indifferently. Such a strange way of killing. Who is it for? A strange light flashed in Baya's eyes. Not good. Get the Internet Management Department to monitor the Internet as much as possible. These photos may have been leaked from the scene. Ling Qiuzuan stood still. Are you ordering me? Baiya was stunned. She knew Ling Qiuzuan's arrogant personality very well. She walked towards the door. Ling Qiuzuan blocked her way. How do you know they will release the photos? What's in it for them? I don't know what's in it for the time being, but the murderer didn't make Minister Zheng look like he was deliberately trying to confuse us. It's too fake, and we can see it at a glance. But since he did it, he must have a purpose, and that purpose is to create a sensation. A strange death. Minister Zheng's identity is a point of attention. What's the purpose of attention? Is it a show of force to the police? Aren't there still contradictions? Ling Qiuzuan was strict. No matter what their true motives are, we must stop whatever they want in order to prevent things from getting worse. Baiya said solemnly. He walked out and said to Shen Yiyan, hurry up and find someone to monitor the internet. I'm worried they'll post it online. Nonsense. If they wanted to do that, they would have done it long ago. Why would they wait until now? Director Zhao refuted immediately. That's because we haven't arrived yet. If I'm not wrong, they have been observing us from nearby. When we arrive and they feel that the time is right, they will release the news and tell the media who is coming, Baiya explained. Guess? Do you rely on guessing when you do things? Women always think that their sixth intuition is very accurate. If their intuition is accurate, why do they need us policemen? Chief Zhao said bluntly. His cell phone rang. Baiya couldn't be bothered with him. It was too tiring to argue with him. He was obstinate and self-righteous. Hurry up and give the order. Otherwise, it'll be too late, Baiya said to Shen Yiyan. Shen Yiyan nodded. In some aspects, he still trusted Baiya. He believed in Baiya's wisdom. He saw Chief Zhao hang up the phone with a bad expression. He looked at Shen Yiyan and said, someone posted the photo online. It's very detailed. They even took a photo of us coming over. You idiot. Why didn't you believe what my wife said? Now it's great. Lin Shulan scolded. Shulan, don't be rude. Since things have come to this, scolding is useless, Baiya ordered. Lin Shulan immediately shut up. Lu Shuang looked at Baiya with admiration. Baiya was really the person she admired the most. It was in the past, and it was still the same. Why didn't she have such a good brain? Ling Qiuzuan was also surprised. He was the second best judge. Not many people dared to challenge him. However, after working together with Baiya a few times, he felt inferior. What do you think we should do now? Shen Yiyan asked Baiya. There are no signs of the house being searched. Department head Zing thinks he can sit back and relax. The other party isn't afraid of being exposed. From the way he killed, it seems to be a professional. It's different from ordinary people. There's a very powerful person behind him. He already has everything under control. He even predicted that we would come. We will investigate the case. According to our normal procedure, the next step is. Baiya looked at Lady Zheng. Madame Zheng had already stopped crying. She lowered her head, and her hand that was holding the napkin was trembling. Baiya's eyes narrowed, and a sharp glint flashed across her eyes. Control her. Zhang Xingyu and Lin Shulan rushed over and arrested Lady Zheng. How dare you? Who gave you the right to kidnap someone in front of our eyes? Baiya, don't go overboard, Zhuochuani shouted and stood up. Lady Zheng looked at Zhuochuani. Zhuochuani glanced at Lady Zheng. Say what you want to say. Cover her mouth. It's not the time for her to speak, Baiya ordered. Lin Shulan followed Baiya's lead. He immediately covered Lady Zheng's mouth. Baiya, you don't get along with Minister Zheng. Don't tell me you're trying to stop Lady Zheng from speaking because of the murder? Zhuochuani said angrily. It's not that I don't get along with Minister Zheng. I'm just punishing the evil and promoting the good. I've already obtained the facts of Minister Zheng's crimes. I've also submitted them to the police and the parliament. These crimes are enough for Minister Zheng to be sentenced to death. Why would I do something unnecessary and get myself involved in a lawsuit? Anyone can kill Minister Zheng. Even I can't. Swatong, what made you so irrational? Baya asked calmly. It's not that I'm irrational. Why did you treat Lady Zheng like that in front of us? Even if her husband committed a crime, his family wouldn't be implicated. Moreover, her husband is dead now, Zhua Chuani said sternly. I did that because someone installed a pinhole camera in our room. Zwatong, do you really want the content of our conversation to be posted on the internet before it's verified and censored? That way, it'll become the public's baseless speculation. The truth will be revealed to the public once it's verified. But before it's verified, it'll only cause panic and unrest. Isn't that right? Zwatong, Baya asked. Zhuachuni's face darkened. You're saying that there's a surveillance camera in our room? Director Zhao, investigate, Shen Yiyan ordered. Yes, Director Zhao instructed. Chapter 635. Indeed. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked you to assist in the investigation, Shen Yiyan agreed. We can't continue with the interrogation today. The murderer is lurking not far away, and the room is filled with cameras. The investigation will waste a lot of time. There might even be a bomb. It's late now, and everyone's physical and mental state isn't good. I suggest we continue the interrogation tomorrow. Mr. President, what do you think? Baya asked seriously. All right. The main thing now is to deal with the matters on the internet. As for the rest, we'll set a time for the meeting tomorrow. Zwatong, what do you think? Shen Yiyan asked Zhuachuani. Zhuachuani looked embarrassed. He smiled and said, Miss Bai, firstly, you're not from the government, and secondly, you're not from the police station. Lady Zheng is the most important witness now. It's not appropriate for you to bring her back. With all due respect, Minister Zheng is your subordinate. Many people will think that Minister Zheng was killed because he knew something unknown to you. Of course, I don't really believe in rumors. After all, in this world, many people aren't as smart as you, Swatong. Swatong should avoid this taboo, right? It's taboo, isn't it? Baya said indifferently. Her expression was calm, graceful, and calm. Zhuachuani blushed and raised his voice. I don't want to take her back, but I'm worried about you. Worried about me for what? Baya asked back with a smile. Zhuachuani was speechless. He paused for 3 seconds and said, Do you dare to issue a military order? If anything happens to Lady Zheng, you'll be fully responsible. Baya smiled. She was still calm. Why should I issue a military order? Then you can't guarantee her safety. Zhuachuani pointed at Baya. Some people want to silence her. Who do you think can guarantee her safety? Baya said deliberately. From the corner of her eyes, she saw that Mrs. Zheng, who had been struggling, had calmed down quite a bit. She continued, At least, my husband's dark shadows are currently loyal to me. I believe you have all heard what kind of existence the dark shadows are. They are loyal to the country and the people. They are the elites of the special forces. As long as it is right and right, they will not hesitate to sacrifice their lives. I can say that even my people can't guarantee Lady Zheng's safety, let alone your people. You're a woman. How could you privately form a team like this? Isn't that a violation of military discipline? Zhuachuani pointed out the main point. I'm just telling you about their abilities. They're not soldiers anymore. They're just security guards I hired. Is that okay with you, Zwatong? Baya said frankly. Zhuachuani was speechless. But he was still unwilling to give up. He said coldly, You're so eloquent. You don't have to stoop to the level of a woman. Shen Yiyan smiled. Since Zwatong doesn't have any objections, I don't have any either. Let Baya bring them back first. We'll discuss the details during the meeting tomorrow. I only brought my assistant here. I don't have anyone with me at the moment. I hope Mr. President can lend me some people first, Bai Ta said cautiously. Shen Yan nodded. I'll give you a team. But after I send you to your place, to prevent people from gossiping, my people will withdraw. Is that okay? Bai nodded. All right. She walked out. Zhang Xingyu and Lin Shulan worked together to bring Lady Zheng to the car. Zhang Xingyu drove the car. Bai sat in the front passenger seat while Lin Shulan and Lady Zheng sat together. After the car started moving, Bai turned to look at Lady Zheng. She instructed Lin Shulan, "You can untie her now." "You're Bai?" Lady Zheng glared at Bai and questioned her. She didn't expect Bai to be such a beautiful lady. She was the prettiest girl she had ever seen. In terms of aura, she was even stronger than Hua Zixing. Bai didn't even look at her. She looked straight ahead and said leisurely, "I advise you to lower your head now. Otherwise, when your head gets blown up, your son won't be able to live either." Lady Zhang's face turned pale. "How do you know about my son? Are you in cahoots with Zhuochuni?" "I didn't figure it out at first. But after seeing Zhuochuni's sudden rage, I figured it out. This murder was probably a setup, right?" Bai said with certainty. Lady Zheng leaned on the chair. Her eyes were filled with fear. "How did you know? How did you know everything?" "At first, I thought that your husband was silenced because he was very relaxed before he died. He even had the time to eat crabs that were hard to handle. But your house wasn't ransacked and the murderer was still able to post the photos on the internet. He wasn't afraid of the matter getting out of hand. Then, it wasn't as simple as silencing someone. Then, he heard Zhuochuni say, 'What do I want you to say?' He roughly knew that this was a trap. Not only did it expose the case, but it also made people think that you were killed. Even if your testimony was not true, it would still cause a lot of commotion. Your testimony can't be against me because I'm not an absolute threat to Zhuochuni. I'm guessing that your testimony might be about Shen Yan. Then, it's possible that Shen Yan killed him to silence him." Bai analyzed slowly. Lady Zhang's face turned pale. "Are you a demon? You're too scary. You're a monster. Monsters eat people, but I don't. On the contrary, I'm saving you. Have you ever thought about what will happen if you frame Shen Yan?" Bai looked at her and asked. Lady Zheng said defensively, "He said that he will let me and my son go abroad and give us a sum of money so that we can live a carefree life." Bai laughed. "That's because you don't understand Zhuochuni. You helped him frame Shen Yan. Shen Yan has an invisible hand. Moreover, Shen Yan has a lot of forces that you can't imagine. To Zhuochuni, letting you live is like letting a time bomb beside him. It's enough to blow him up." Lady Zheng was in a daze for a moment. She thought for a while. "You think that Zhuochuni will kill me and my son? I don't think it's useful. The key is you. What do you think?" Lady Zheng's body trembled as she thought about it. Every word that Bai said hit her heart. Zhuochuni said that my husband is finished. He will never be able to get out of prison. He might even be sentenced to death. My son and I won't have a good life in the future. Moreover, when I thought about how he found a university student outside, I was angry at him. I also thought that he might as well let me and my son be. That day, my son was taken away by Zhuochuni. I went home happily and said that the matter had been resolved. I knew that it was time for him to die. Chapter 636. But if he doesn't die today, my son and I will be the ones who will die. When I was washing the dishes in the kitchen, I received a message from Zhuochuni. He told me that if anyone asks me about any secrets, I should testify against the president and say that he has an illegitimate child. Lady Zheng told Bai everything she knew. Bai's eyes glinted. That was close. If it was revealed that Shen Yan had an illegitimate child, not only would Shen Yan be in deep trouble, but Lu Shuang would also be in danger. She could not let anything happen to Lu Shuang. Are you willing to testify against Swachuni? Baya asked. Can you protect me and my son? Lady Zheng begged. Baya thought about it seriously. She was not a person who would make irresponsible promises. She had to do what she promised. Otherwise, she would not be able to eat or sleep well if she kept it in her heart. She had even thought of a plan to save Lady Zheng's son. Sure, I will do my best. But I want you to change your statement. You say that it was Swachuni who instructed you to frame Su Zheng. He asked you to say that Su Zheng had something to do with the framing of Gu Lingqing's uncle. Huh? Is that so? Lady Zheng thought for a while and nodded. Baya, actually, old Zheng knows about Swachuni's secret. It has something to do with Gu Lingqing. It has something to do with Lingqing? Baya was shocked. Lady Zheng was about to speak when Baya saw a flash of light and a loud bang. She saw the explosion from the corner of her eyes and instinctively hid behind the chair. But the scene was too terrifying. It was as if it was frozen in her mind. She did not come back to her senses for 3 seconds. Zhang Xingyu braked and shouted anxiously, Madam, are you all right? Baya came back to her senses. I'm fine. Just want to see how Lady Zheng is doing. She turned around and saw that Lady Zheng was badly mutilated. Her face was unrecognizable, and half of her head was gone. She probably couldn't survive. She really didn't expect Swachuni to put a bomb in her mouth. It was probably on her teeth. Fortunately, the car was modified and made of titanium steel. Even if it exploded, as long as she hid behind the chair, it wouldn't affect her. Zhang Xingyu shouted worriedly, Lin Shulan. Baya's heart tightened. Lin Shulan was sitting behind her, and she couldn't see him. But thinking about it, she was protected by a chair, but Lin Shulan wasn't. She quickly got off the car and opened the back door. Half of Lin Shulan's body was blasted into a bloody mess, and he had already lost consciousness. Shulan, 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 Baya shouted anxiously. Zhang Xingyu ran over. Madam, please get on the car as soon as possible. It's too dangerous to be exposed to the air. I'm fine. Send Shulan to the hospital as soon as possible. She must be saved. We can't let anything happen to her. Baya ordered. Her eyes were red. I have to ensure Madam's safety. Madam, please get on the car first. Zhang Xingyu opened the car door and looked around cautiously. Shen Yiyan's car arrived at the same time. Baya tried her best to calm herself down. She had to look at the bigger picture. At this moment, she couldn't be a burden. She got into the car and closed the door. She took a deep breath. Zhang Xingyu, check the surveillance cameras. Are they still useful? Zhang Xingyu immediately checked the surveillance cameras installed at the back of the car. They're all destroyed. What about the memory card? Zhang Xingyu showed it to Baya. The memory card was burnt too. Baya furrowed her eyebrows. Lady Zheng was dead, and the truth was not captured. The good thing was that Swachuni's plan was ruined. Shen Yiyan was safe for the time being, and Lu Shuang was fine. But for Baya, Sherlan was injured too. She felt a pain in her heart. After all, Sherlan was her subordinate. Get in the car first. Drive to the nearest hospital. I'll call Leng Xiao now and ask him to prepare the best doctor, Baya ordered. Yes. Zhang Xingyu got into the car. Shen Yiyan's men came over and asked, what happened? I saw a fire just now. Was it an explosion? Someone planted a bomb in Lady Zheng's mouth. My men were injured. We need to go to the hospital now. There's no time to waste. Ask the forensic doctor to go to the hospital directly, Baya ordered. Yes. Zhang Xingyu drove to the hospital immediately. Baya made a call. Leng Xiao, there's an accident. Swachuni planted a bomb in Lady Zheng's body. Sherlan is injured now. We'll arrive at the First People's Hospital in about 5 minutes. Tell the doctors there to get ready. Okay, I'll call them immediately. Do you know who killed Minister Zheng? Leng Xiao asked curiously. Zhuo Chuani, I had already gotten the evidence, and the surveillance cameras had captured it, but now the surveillance cameras have been destroyed. It's all my fault. I should have installed a remote surveillance camera. Now, the memory sticks are all burnt. I don't know if the technical department can restore it. Bai Ye was annoyed. Leng Xiao knew that Bai Ye didn't do it on purpose. Bai Ye was good at planning and the other party was not easy to deal with. He comforted her, since we're here, let's take things as they come. Zhuo Chuani is very cunning. He's more low-key than Xing Dongqing, but he's more shrewd than Xing Dongqing. He's also very popular. He's more difficult to deal with than Xing Dongqing. We have to be more careful next time. That's all for now. I'll call the hospital, Leng Xiao said and hung up the phone. The smell of burnt meat filled the air in the car. It was a disgusting smell. Bai Ye closed his eyes and endured the uncomfortable feeling. Lady Zheng said that Minister Zheng knew about Zhuo Chuani's secret. This secret was related to Gu Lingqing. What was it about? Minister Zheng must have threatened Zhuo Chuani about this. That was why Zhuo Chuani comforted him on the surface but killed him behind his back. Moreover, the bomb that Lady Zheng mentioned could be remotely controlled. Zhuo Chuani didn't kill Lady Zheng when she said that he was behind the scenes. Instead, he detonated the bomb when Lady Zheng was about to tell the secret. The bomb was detonated in time. So, besides the bomb, Lady Zheng said that there was also a monitoring device. What secret was it that made Zhuo Chuani so nervous? Was he related to the death of Gu Lingqing's father? She had a headache thinking about it. She couldn't think of any connection. Because she couldn't think of it, she felt that there must be a big secret in it. Her phone rang. It was Shen Yiyan. She answered. What happened? Lady Zheng is dead? Did you get anything out of her? Shen Yiyan asked anxiously. It was Zhuo Chuani who killed Lady Zheng. Zhuo Chuani is now controlling Lady Zheng's son. You'd better save Lady Zheng's son as soon as possible. He is in danger now. Zhuo Chuani is a cautious person. Since he killed Lady Zheng, there is no need to keep Lady Zheng's son alive. I asked him for his son now, but he refused. I can't do anything to him, Shen Yiyan explained. Zhuo Chuani's target is you. Bai Ye reminded her. I guessed it. Shen Yiyan wasn't surprised. Zhuo Chuani was the only one among the three who still had his strength. His target was the position of the president. Before the other two came to their senses, they would definitely deal with him. Hello, everyone. I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 637. You'd better be careful. Zhuo Chuani asked Lady Zheng to say that you have an illegitimate child. Although he doesn't have any evidence, there's no smoke without fire. I don't want Lu Shuang to be in danger. We've already killed her parents, we can't let her get hurt again, Bai Ye said solemnly. Other than me, Su Jiran and Xing Dongqing, the only ones who know about the relationship between Lu Shuang and you are Xing Dongqing. Su Jiran would have said it long ago if he wanted to. On the other hand, Xing Dongqing is a ticking time bomb, Bai Ye said worriedly. He's keeping a low profile now. He won't target me unless it's absolutely necessary. Zhuo Chuani is the one in danger now. He's too ambitious now. Moreover, it's just the loss of Minister Zheng. It's not a big loss for him, unlike Xing Dongqing who has already left the government. Bai Ye understood what he meant. He didn't want to touch Xing Dongqing for the time being. She was a little annoyed and they were almost at the hospital. That's all for now. One of my subordinates is injured and the situation is very serious. We'll discuss it later. She hung up the phone. Zhang Xingyu looked at Bai Ye worriedly. Is the president not going to deal with Xing Dongqing? He wants to deal with Zhuo Chuani first. Our people have been following Zhuo Chuani for a long time and have investigated him for a long time. There's no problem at all. It's not easy to deal with him. Zhang Xingyu was melancholy. Baiya remained silent. She was still thinking about Gu Lingqing's secret. Her phone rang. She saw that it was an unknown number. She didn't want to pick it up, but she thought that it might be Xing Buhua, so she picked it up. Are you okay? The people I sent to protect you said that they saw a fire in your car. Are you on the way to the hospital now? Xing Buhua asked worriedly. Hearing that his voice wasn't hoarse, she felt warm in her heart. I'm fine. Something happened to Shulan. She's almost at the hospital now. Don't get out of the car. I'll pick you up right away. Don't come over, it's very dangerous. Also, Lady Zheng said that Minister Zheng died because he knew the secret of Zhuochuni, and this secret is related to you. What kind of secret do you think it is? Baiya asked confusedly. He could only ask the person involved. Xing Buhua paused, lowered his eyes, and asked, What is the secret about me? I don't know. Don't come over. Wait here for Shulan to be sent to the emergency room. Leng Xiao will send someone to pick me up. Don't worry. How can I be at ease? Xing Buhua interrupted her, Don't go to the hospital. There are too many people and it's too chaotic. It's not convenient for Ning to hide. You'll be in danger. Many people want to kill you now. Just stay in the car and don't move. You can't help. Listen to me, that's all. Before Baiya could say anything, he hung up the phone. Baiya sighed. When Gu Lingqing became stubborn, she was no match for her, although he had been patient and tolerant enough to her. However, there was also some sweetness in her heart. She knew that he had risked his life to come here because he was worried about her. This was probably the only thing that gave her the courage to continue fighting despite her grief and exhaustion. She wanted to fight for her and Gu Lingqing's future. The bus arrived at the hospital. The doctor and nurse were already waiting at the door with a stretcher. Take care of Shulan. Don't worry about me. The Dark Shadows people are nearby, said Baiya to Zhang Xingyu. But the forensic doctor will be here soon. It's not safe for Madam to be alone in the car. Zhang Xingyu was worried. Don't forget that this is a modified car. I'll activate the safety mode later. Don't worry, I know what to do. Hurry up and send her up. Don't delay the treatment, urged Baiya. Zhang Xingyu looked at Baiya and then at the unconscious Shulan. All right, Madam, I'll send her up first. I'll report to you later. Zhang Xingyu carried Lin Shulan, placed her on the stretcher and pushed the elevator. Baiya closed the door and leaned against the chair to take a nap. She didn't know why, but she was especially tired today. There was also a vague sense of uneasiness. She couldn't tell what it was for now. Xing Buhua quickly entered the secret passage. His eyes were sharp as he looked ahead, emitting a murderous aura that could destroy heaven and earth. He had guessed that it was Zhuochuni who killed Minister Zheng. He had also guessed that Zhuochuni was good at killing people with a borrowed knife. The person he wanted to deal with might be Sheniyan. Sheniyan was also on the opposite side to him. It wouldn't do him any harm to weaken Sheniyan's power. Therefore, when Baiya left, he didn't say his guess. However, he didn't expect that the person who assassinated Gu Lingqing was Zhuochuni. This should be the secret that Minister Zheng knew. Gu Lingqing was his younger brother. He had to take revenge. Moreover, Zhuochuni dared to hurt the woman he loved the most. He couldn't be forgiven. Are the documents ready? Xing Buhua made a call and asked coldly. Almost. Send them to my email. Xing Buhua hung up the phone and sped up. He was eager to see Baiya. He was afraid that something had happened to her. When Baiya was about to fall asleep, someone knocked on the car window. She glanced at the person's eyes. He was gentle and capable. He wore a white forensic uniform and held a box in his hand. He should be the person called by Sheniyan. She pressed a button and the chair rose up to form a glass cover, protecting her inside. Then, she pressed the remote control and opened the door. The modification of her car cost tens of millions, which was more expensive than the car itself. The forensic doctor was amazed. After a moment of daze, he came in to work. Baya leaned back on the chair and continued to rest with her eyes closed. Her phone rang again. She sighed. It was Shaniyan. She picked it up and greeted weakly, "Hello. Baya, I need to trouble you with something." Shaniyan's tone was solemn. "What's wrong?" "My man is dead. I've confirmed that he is related to the death of Lu Shuang's mother. He was the one who sent someone to assassinate her. I was going to finish him off with a mission, but I didn't expect him to die first. I suspect that there's someone else behind this," Shaniyan said solemnly. Baya sat up straight in shock. "Who is it?" "I don't know. Formless reported that he committed suicide. Everyone saw him jump down from the roof. No one pushed him. I thought that he committed suicide to escape punishment. But his grandson just turned 1 month old. Even if he committed suicide to escape punishment, he should have left some last words, right? I just checked the surveillance footage, and it shows that he went up to the rooftop alone and jumped off. Before that, he stayed in his room the whole time. During that time, only his orderly went to the rooftop." Shen Ian thought it was strange. What about the communication records? Who did he contact before the accident? Chapter 638. What about the food? Is there a problem? Baya thought. I've sent a plane to pick him up and the forensic doctor will examine it. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the food. I've also investigated the orderlies around him. There's no problem. So, it's more likely that he committed suicide. It doesn't sound like a crime. There's no murderer, no communication records, and no suicide note. But it's really strange. Send the surveillance video to my email. I'll watch it when I get back. You must protect her, Lu Shuang. If anything happens to her, Shaniyan, I won't let you go, Baya warned worriedly. Don't worry. If anything happens to her, the first person I won't let go is myself. As long as I'm alive, I'll protect her with my life. If I die, I'll die before her. Shen Ian promised. Baya still believed in Shen Ian, just like how she believed that Shen Ian loved Lu Shuang. She hoped that Lu Shuang and Debeo would have a good ending, so she betrayed Lu Shuang's whereabouts. If things could go back to the past, she wouldn't tell Shen Ian about Lu Shuang's whereabouts. At least then, Lu Shuang could live happily with her parents. It didn't matter even if she could never meet and chat with Lu Shuang again. At least, she knew that Lu Shuang was happy. Unfortunately, there was no medicine for regret in the world. She hung up the phone and looked at the forensic doctor. After examining Lady Zhang's body, the forensic doctor put her in a body bag and took her away. The forensic doctor was still collecting the remaining facial tissues at the scene. Baya turned her face away. In fact, Lady Zhang was also a poor woman. She looked glamorous, but her husband cheated on her and raised several college students outside. She must be in pain. The key was that Minister Zhang knew the secret and she was implicated. She also loved her son, so she promised Zhuochuani. There was nothing wrong with a mother's love. Thinking of this, she picked up her phone and dialed a number. Zhuochuani saw that it was an unknown caller and did not pick up. Baya sent a message over, I'm Baya. There's something I want to discuss with Zhuotong. Zhuochuani did not reply to the message. Baya continued to call Zhuochuani. This time, he picked up. Baya pressed the record button. Woman, what do you want? Zhuochuani lost control of his temper and shouted. Baya smiled. There were many reasons for anger in the heart, but the trembling of anger meant that the other party was in fear, which was a good thing for her negotiation. Actually, I think you should be able to guess what I want. After all, I'm not the only one with Lady Zhang's voice recording on the car, Baya said calmly. Zhuochuani was shocked. you installed a surveillance camera in your car? If you can install a surveillance camera and a bomb in Lady Zhang's mouth, why can't I install a surveillance camera in my car? But it's a pity that the surveillance camera in the car was destroyed. Fortunately, I still have a copy of the remote surveillance camera. Heh. Baya chuckled. What do you want? Zhuochuani said in a low voice, trying to suppress his murderous aura, but it leaked through his teeth. Zhuotong, don't be nervous. If I wanted to send it, I wouldn't have called you. I just want you to let go of Lady Zhang's son, Baya said calmly. That's it? Zhuochuani obviously didn't believe her. Of course, if you're willing to tell me what Gu Lingxing's secret is, I'll be even happier. But you killed Lady Zhang because of this. I'm worried that I won't be able to live another day if I find out. I don't have any deep hatred with Zhuotong, right? Baya negotiated. You don't have any hatred with me, so why did you mess with Minister Zhang? Don't tell me that you don't know that Minister Zhang is one of my people, Zhuochuani said sarcastically. I didn't mess with Minister Zhang on purpose. I'm really angry. I was the one who solved that sensational case. It was the torture and murder caused by the education department. I don't think it's wrong for me to expose Minister Zhang. Since Minister Zhang is in the wrong, he should take responsibility, right? Baya asked. What do you want his son for? Zhuochuani returned to the main topic. Baya chuckled. Didn't you hear my conversation with Lady Zhang? She promised me. Although I didn't have the chance to do it, I should keep my promise and do my best to save her son. Why would you be so kind? Do you want him to testify against me and get my secret from him? Let me tell you, it's too late. He's already been fed to the dogs. Release the recording. You're setting me up on purpose. No one will believe you. Really? What if I recorded the entire conversation we just had? Baya, do you think I'm as stupid as Xingdongcheng? Your ex-husband recorded it. I've already played the recording on my phone. If you don't believe me, you can listen to it. There's only your voice in the recording. Also, don't you dare try to do anything to me. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. This is the last warning. Zhuochuani said and hung up the phone angrily. Baya furrowed her brows. She was still done. She didn't manage to save Lady Zhang's son. She sighed and pressed the recording button. Just as Zhuochuani had said, there was only her voice in the recording. Zhuochuani's conversation was left blank. She had underestimated Zhuochuani. The door opened. A man in a furry leather coat and helmet stood in front of her. Follow me. She could tell that it was Gu Lingxing's voice. She unlocked the security settings and got down from her seat. He held her hand, got into his car and left quickly. Baya looked behind her worriedly. There were a few cars driving over. She made a call. I'm fine. I'm going back to the manor now. Don't worry. Xing Buhua didn't even look at Baya. He looked ahead sharply. Xiaoya, leave the matter of dealing with Zhuochuani to me. From now on, you can stay at home and take care of your baby. I'm fine, I have something to do. Xing Buhua interrupted her and said angrily, I know that there was an explosion in your car. Do you know that my heart is going to explode on the spot? What if you die? I'm better off dead than alive. But you know that I have things that I have to do. Give me half a year. I'll get rid of Zhuochuani and Xingdongcheng. I just hope that you can live well. Haven't we talked about this many times? I want to fight alongside you. Chapter 639. Isn't it because you have a special condition? We'll split the work. You'll do the big things, and you'll do the small things. Isn't that good? Baya said gently. What you're doing now is trivial. You are now directly offending Zhuochuani and confronting Zhuochuani head-on. His power and influence are not something you can imagine. How can he still Xing Buhua paused. He did not finish the word Lingqing. He turned his face away and panted angrily. His chest was heaving violently. Wait. I have so many people protecting me. I'll be fine. Don't be angry. Baya held Xing Buhua's hand. Xing Buhua flung her hand away. It's easier to dodge a spear in the open than an arrow in the dark. If he's bent on killing you, you might be able to dodge it once or twice, but you won't be able to dodge it 100 times. You've seen what his subordinates are capable of. With one slash, your head will be chopped off. You're not alone now. There's even a child. But I'll go crazy if I don't do anything and watch you risk your life outside. I'd rather die with you than live an ignoble life. Baya's eyes were red. In the past, she thought that he was dead and couldn't live on. Every day, her heart ached so much that she couldn't sleep. Even when she did sleep, the time she slept was very short. When she woke up, she felt that there was nothing left to live for. She missed him, missed him, missed him, missed him so much that her heart ached even more. It was painful when she woke up, and it was still painful when she fell asleep. As she slept, she would cry. That feeling, she did not want to experience it again. If I'm going to die, I want to die in front of you. I can't bear to see him die. Promise me, can you? Baya choked and asked. In that instant, it was as though a hammer had smashed into his heart. Trembling violently, he reached out and pressed the back of her neck into his embrace. He knew that if he didn't come out, she would die. He envied Gu Lingqing and his heart ached for her. Even if it was a lie, even if he was a substitute, he still wanted to take good care of her for the rest of her life. He lowered his head and kissed her on the cheek. It was a heavy kiss. He really wanted time to freeze at this moment. Baya hugged him tightly and closed her eyes. He made up his mind. Baya, I'll pursue you as Xing Buhua, okay? Marry me and let me protect you in the open. No. She looked at him anxiously. I've already confronted Zhua Chuani head-on. You're in the dark now. If you're not related to me, they won't be afraid of you. At most, they'll think that you look like Gu Lingqing. If you're in contact with me, they'll easily think that you're Gu Lingqing. Baya analyzed rationally. So be it. It doesn't matter. Come at me if you're capable. Lingqing, a little impatience will spoil great plans. We have to think about our future. So, we can't make any mistakes. Actually, it's good now. Although Zhua Chuani hates me, he won't kill me. His current focus is on dealing with Sheniyan. Baya tried to persuade him. So, Sheniyan is very smart. He'll let you be the target so that he can hide in the back without any worries. How can Zhua Chuani not understand? I'll tell Zhua Chuani now that I've got the recording of Lady Xing testifying against him. But if I don't send it out, he'll let down his guard against me. Moreover, it's not that easy for him to kill me. On the contrary, if he makes a single mistake, all his efforts will be in vain. Baya tried to persuade Xing Buhua. Xing Buhua's eyes were as deep as obsidian. Zhua Chuani hired someone to assassinate Lingqing. He had a guilty conscience. No matter how good Baya's disguise was, he wouldn't let down his guard. He hated Su Jiran and Alan. He always felt that they were eyeing Baya. But for Baya's safety, he had to abandon his jealousy. Her safety was the most important thing to him. Xiaoya, you're fine. They're afraid of you now. One of the reasons is that you're Gu Lingqing's wife. If you can find another boyfriend, they'll let down their guard against you. Xing Buhua said earnestly. I won't find anyone but you. It's fake. It's just to make them let down their guard against you. Xing Buhua held her shoulders. I don't want to lie and hurt other people's feelings just to save my life. Baya refused. Because she had been hurt before, she always remembered not to hurt others, especially those who loved her. I'll arrange it for you. They know that you're pretending, so they won't fall in love with you. You don't have to hurt or lie to other people's feelings. How about this? Besides, with their cover, it'll be easier for us to meet, and we won't be limited to this place. Xing Buhua persuaded her. She didn't have to lie or hurt them. If that was the case, it was fine. Okay. But I'm pregnant. Won't it be deliberate to find a boyfriend? Bai Ye was worried. I'll arrange it. After all, you and Gu Lingqing haven't been in public for a long time. It's normal that you don't have a deep relationship. Xing Buhua rubbed Bai Ye's hair. Bai Ye nodded. She was a little tired. Go to sleep. I'll wake you up when we reach the manor, Xing Buhua said softly and put on his helmet. Don't let anyone recognize you. It's very dangerous. Leave after you send me to the manor. Don't come tonight. You'll be very tired too. Too tired. Your brain won't work and your body won't listen to you, Bai Ye said, feeling sorry for him. Okay. I'll go back after I send you to the manor. I'll look for you tomorrow when I'm free. I have something to tell them to do when I get back, Xing Buhua replied. He drove the car and returned to the surveillance room. Bai Ye closed her eyes and fell asleep soon. Xing Buhua drove to the manor. The manor's security guard came out immediately. He lowered his voice and ordered, "Your wife is asleep. Find a car to send her back." Yes. The security guard immediately went to drive the car. Bai Ye was a light sleeper. When she opened her eyes, she saw the manor. She stretched her neck. She only slept for half an hour, but she felt very energetic. I'll go down now, she said to Xing Buhua. Don't stay up late today. You're pregnant. Take care of yourself, Xing Buhua said, feeling sorry for her. Bai Ye nodded. You rest early too. Good night. Okay, Xing Buhua replied. He only drove off after she got into the car. When Bai Ye returned to the empty room, she thought of Lin Shulan's condition. Her heart sank. She called Zhang Xingyu. How's Shulan? The surgery was successful. Her life is not in danger. However, half of her face is badly damaged. I'm worried that she won't be able to take it when she wakes up, Zhang Xingyu said worriedly. Tell her that I'll find the best plastic surgeon for her. I guarantee that she won't be uglier than before. Tell her to be at ease. The most important thing is to stabilize her emotions. Once she's stable, she'll recover easily. Tell her not to worry about me. I'm fine. Tell her to rest well, Bai Ye said. Okay. Madam, I suddenly have an idea. I wonder if it's right? Zhang Xingyu said hesitantly. Go ahead. Could Lady Xing be trying to say that President Gu's assassination has something to do with Swichuni? Hello everyone, I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 640. Xing Buhua told her that the assassination was just his plan. She had suspected that Xing Buhua wasn't Gu Lingqing many times in the past, but now she didn't want to doubt it anymore. If Gu Lingqing wasn't him, then where did Gu Lingqing go? She didn't dare to think about it. As a psychologist, she actually had troubles that others didn't have, because she knew human nature too well. She knew that people would subconsciously reject pain. Sometimes, when the truth came out, people would choose to believe the side that they wanted to believe, with their subjective beliefs and biases. She was no exception. Zhang Xingyu, Lingqing is by my side now. I trust him more than anyone else. There are some things that have no basis, so don't let your imagination run wild. It won't help your judgment, and it's easy to get stuck in a dead end. We'll think about the secret that Lady Xing told us later. The most important thing now is to relieve the trauma, and I don't want to lose any of you because of me, Bai Ye said earnestly. Understood, madam, Zhang Xingyu replied sincerely. Bai Ye hung up the phone. She didn't feel like working today, so she took a shower, laid on the bed and fell asleep. She dreamed of Gu Lingqing. In the dream, he just looked at her deeply and didn't say a word. But her heart hurt, and the pain was deep in her bones. She rushed over and hugged him, but she couldn't hug him. She was very sad, and she knelt on the ground, looking at him, tears flowing out of her eyes. "Don't leave me. Don't go." He seemed to be crying too, and his eyes were very moist. He walked towards her reluctantly. She grabbed his clothes. "Don't leave me. If you must leave, let's go together. I'm very lonely." She was so sad that she cried out loud. Gu Lingqing still didn't say a word. He stroked her head and sighed. Baya watched as he slowly disappeared in front of her. "No!" she shouted hysterically. She was so sad that she opened her eyes. Her face was full of tears. In her blur, she saw Gu Lingqing sitting by her bed and looking at her with pity. She impulsively hugged him and said pitifully, "I dreamed that you left." Xing Buhua looked at her deeply and comforted her softly, "I won't go. This is just a dream. Dreams and reality are opposite. If you really want to leave, you must take me with you, no matter if it's life or death. I don't want to live alone. I don't have a father, I don't have a mother, I only have you. We have children." Baya cried. She didn't know why she was breaking down today. She knew that she had let little Yen down. Ever since little Yen was born, she had never fulfilled her responsibilities as a mother. She used to hate Bai Bing, but at least when she was young, when Bai Bing wanted to leave, she also cut her wrist. She also wanted to take her away. She knew that in the eyes of others, this was a kind of mental behavior. She would be spurned and insulted by others. They scolded that her mother didn't even let go of her own daughter. She didn't understand it before and felt cold in her heart. Now she understood. Bai Bing didn't want her to suffer in this world. She didn't want her to live alone. She was also worried that others would bully her after she died. She had a hard life. Little Yen, she had adoptive parents. Her adoptive parents did better than her. They loved little Yen with all their love. She was really a failure and a coward. She was not as strong as she thought. "I'm sorry." Baya choked with sobs. When she was young, she liked a writer named San Mao. San Mao's life was not very lucky. When she was about to marry her boyfriend died. Later, she met He Shi and lived with her husband for a few years. They loved each other very much. Unfortunately, her husband also fell in love when he was very young. Her husband died. She promised her parents that she would live well and take care of them. However, only she knew the lonely and painful days of missing them every day. She wrote a confession. She was sorry to her parents. She broke her promise for the first time and chose to commit suicide. Really, outsiders thought that this woman was so insensible. However, only she knew the insomnia she suffered every day. She couldn't live without Gu Lingqing. She couldn't live without him. Xing Buhua hugged her and sighed. "Live well. I'm sorry." She could only say this. She looked at him with tears in her eyes and said intermittently, "Gu Lingqing, tell me, you're really Gu Lingqing. Don't lie to me." How could she not think of the things that Zhang Xingyu could think of? This was the most reasonable point. However, she really didn't want to believe it. Xing Buhua looked at her deeply and nodded. "If I'm not Gu Lingqing, who am I?" He touched her hand and placed it on her face. "Feel it. My face hasn't changed. My voice hasn't changed. I had to change my personality. After everything is settled, I'll be Gu Lingqing. Haven't we already done a paternity test? I can get Xiao Yan back and do it again for you." Baya shook her head and hugged him tightly again. She closed her eyes. "I believe you. As long as you say it, I'll believe it." Xing Buhua caressed her back. "All right, it's almost dawn. You should rest well. Our child still needs to sleep." Baya's eyes were red. She let go of Xing Buhua and lay on the side. She patted the spot beside her. Don't leave tonight. You should rest for a while too. I told you not to come, but you still came. I don't want you to work so hard. Fortunately, I came. Otherwise, what should I do if you cry like this? Xing Buhua said helplessly. I just had a nightmare, Baya explained. Go to sleep. I'll leave after you fall asleep. There's still a lot of things to do today, Xing Buhua said gently. Sigh. Baya sighed. I'm sorry. I've made you worry. Xing Buhua chuckled. It's good that there's someone worth worrying about in my heart. Only then will I have motivation. Baya closed her eyes. Actually, she wanted him to drop everything and leave with her. But she knew that it would be useless even if she said it. It would only be a burden to Gu Lingqing. If Gu Lingqing wanted to drop everything and leave, he would tell her. Tired from crying, she fell asleep in a daze. Xing Buhua covered her with the blanket before getting up and walking towards the secret passage. His phone vibrated. He saw that it was a call from the research team. He picked it up immediately. What's wrong? Mr. Xing, Mr. Gu's heart rhythm is irregular and his blood pressure is low. If he doesn't wake up soon, he might not even be able to stay in a vegetative state. I don't care what methods you use. You must ensure that he stays alive. If he dies, I'll bury all of you with him, Xing Buhua said irrationally. You're tuning into the Dreamy Love Stories YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.